Hoo hoo. Girls are not cute at all when they grow up. Xiaohei was so cute in the past and couldn't talk about me. Now, he talks a lot and makes me a pension plan. My god, are you trying to kill me? Did you kill me? Xiaohei, it has become too scary. Chen Qingtian didn't dare to talk to Xiaohei, he would be autistic. In the past, I made them feel uncomfortable. When they grow up, they want to take revenge. To retaliate on a more terrifying spiritual level, please, brother, you are too cruel. I can't stand it, I can't stand it, I'd better hang up the phone early. I really miss Xiaohei from the past. There was a little beauty, who started to feel shy after saying a few words. Now, she is probably a beauty who has entered a terrible period, and I can't afford to provoke her. Xiaohei is equal to a strong woman, an existence she cannot afford to provoke. In the future, I will not talk to Xiaohei less, and I will be arranged clearly. Aunt Karim covered her mouth and smiled. You are old, but you are not serious. You were such a serious person before. All old, Aunt Karim has grown a lot of white hair, and less black hair. The face is full of wrinkles, and beside her, the one supporting her is her daughter. It is the person who has been helping to watch the house after Chen Qingtian left. Haha, I'm getting old. Aunt Karim sighed, I'm old, you're just a little more mature. The two are about the same age, and Aunt Karim is a few years older than Chen Qingtian, which is not much different. Their states are very different. Aunt Karim is aging, and her energy and spirit are weakened to a certain extent. Her body cannot be compared with Chen Qingtian. Chen Qingtian's body was very healthy, stronger than that of a young man. Tortoise fruit is not strong in other functions, and its longevity is the strongest. Where, Karim, you were still the big beauty back then. Haha, your mouth is still so sweet. Karim recalled, back then, we were still looking forward to the outside world. In the blink of an eye, so many years have passed, and I am old, but I have never left this island. Hey. If you don't go out when you were young, you can't go out when you are old. She is destined to return to her roots. This is my daughter Dayton. In the future, if you have anything to ask her for help. She is helping me with my current business. If I encounter trouble in the future, I hope you will take care of me. Dayton, Aunt Karim's daughter, is exactly the same as the young Karim Big Beauty. He inherited his mother's genes perfectly, but he didn't know if his temper was inherited. Hi uncle, I'm Dayton. Dayton was very polite and called uncle. Chen Qingtian groped around and found a small gift, which he bought outside and kept it there. Here, uncle's meeting gift, I didn't buy it last time. There was a meeting gift, but Dayton was embarrassed to refuse and looked at his mother. Aunt Karim nodded, and Dayton dared to accept the gift. Thank you uncle. It can be seen that she likes the string of beads given by Chen Qingtian very much. You're welcome, I will trouble you later. No trouble, no trouble. Dayton inherited his mother's character, a very polite little girl. Chen Qingtian exchanged pleasantries with them and hurried up the mountain. Dayton watched Chen Qingtian's back, alone, always so lonely. She curiously asked her mother, Mom, why do you take such good care of them? Aunt Karim smiled and said, Dayton, in the future, you should deal with them more. With them around, no one dares to touch you. Monkid Garp is his son, you should know him? Dayton nodded. I know. That brat in my childhood. Aunt Karim said, Garp, he's Marine Vice Admiral now. Dayton asked in surprise, Huh? Marine Vice Admiral, that's a very high position. The next step is Admiral. That is the highest combat power of Marine, wherever he goes, he is an earth-shattering big shot. There is also Sengoku, Xiaohei, the few people he trained back then have all become Marines every move. Our family has done a lot of evil, and we will be retaliated sooner or later. As for us, we are very weak. Only on this island can we protect ourselves. You need to help a lot in the future, at least to ensure that you can enjoy your old age in peace. Isn't she the same? Because of the relationship between Garp and others, she has been staying here. On the family side, no one dared to do anything to her. There are also some people who are afraid of those people who do anything for money. Dayton nodded numbly. She held the gift from Chen Qingtian, and asked tremblingly, Mother, what about this one? He gave you, you take it. Karim stared at the mountain, she could see the difference in Chen Qingtian. He is not weak. It's just that he has been hiding, not exposed, and not many people know. Aunt Karim knew about the pirates coming ashore back then, so she didn't say anything about it. Who doesn't like a quiet life? Unexpectedly, I, Karim, will have a day to enjoy my old age, haha. The sea. A ship is sailing. Marine's flag hangs and flutters in the wind. In front of the boat, there were 3 people standing. Garp and Xiaohei, and the little Dorag. Sengoku was inseparable, unable to leave the headquarters, only to let the 2 of them come back. As for Garp, he doesn't care about that, he can leave when he wants, and he will never be bound by Marine's affairs. Xiaohei, follow Garp, nothing major has happened recently, they are happy to be at leisure. After sailing for half a month, they traveled a long distance. Leave Marineford and enter East Blue. The familiar East Blue, the familiar breath, no matter how many times I come back, I always feel that East Blue is good. No worries, no intrigue. Father, what kind of person is Grandpa? Dorag asked his father Garp nervously, he likes to be in a boat, he likes to sail. Feel the breath of the wind and bathe in the smell of the sea. Standing on the bow, staring ahead, Drago's heart was very excited. Approaching his father's house, he began to get nervous. He hasn't been back to his father's house since he was born, and he used to always hear, from Sengoku uncle, from Aunt Xiaohei, that they all said that East Blue's home was the best place in their lives. That place is full of human touch and everyone is nice. Mainly, having a dad, uncle, who loves them. Ever since I was a child, I have been curious about what kind of person my grandfather was. As for my father, I seldom mentioned it, and occasionally mentioned a few words, all of which are the quintessence of Chinese culture. Your grandfather, he is an old urchin who likes to play very much. Garp thought for a long time, but didn't think of a word to describe his father. He is very insidious, he is a 6th child, and he is also a vicious, violent person who likes to abuse children. Cough cough, all in all, there are many more, he won't list them one by one. But he can't tell his son about his grandfather's shortcomings, he can only talk about his advantages. Dorag looks forward to it even more. Father, Grandpa likes to play as much as I do. I think Grandpa and I will be able to chat. Ha ha ha, good son. Garp patted his son Drago on the head, laughing loudly. Son, you will stop laughing soon. The boat approached the shore, and Garp and others couldn't wait to get off the boat. The busy marine behind stopped Garp and the others and told them to wait. Vice Admiral Garp, wait a minute. Staff Crane, wait for us. Marines want to follow, they don't want to be left behind. Waiting for them are 3 figures from the back. Garp waved his hand, you can figure it out, just don't follow. Garp, who is close to his hometown, is afraid to go home when he arrives in the town. Standing in the center of the town, he stared ahead. Garp, are you back? A voice behind him made Garp smile. Hearing the familiar voice, he happily turned around and gave the visitor a hug. Haha, Aunt Kareem, long time no see. Long time no see, they see each other less often. Aunt Kareem hugs Garp, the naughty boy who grew up as a child, and now has a son. Garp, is this your son? Garp stroked Drago's head and laughed loudly. Haha, yes, it's my son, Drago, come here. Drago obediently stood up, and he looked curiously at the person coming. A simple and honest ant, with a burly body and average strength. Come on, son, call someone, call Grandma. Drago obediently called out, Grandma. This grandma made Aunt Kareem smile like a flower. With only one daughter, she has no grandson or granddaughter. The daughter is not married, and people in the neighborhood are afraid of her daughter. Who let the daughter inherit nothing, but inherited her burly, and her personality is hot. When encountering unpleasant things, they always like to use force to solve the problem. Okay. Good grandson, okay. She groped in her arms and took out a bag of candy. Here, Drago, eat candy. Drago glanced at his father, Garp nodded, and he took it. Thank you Grandma. Okay, really good. Aunt Kareem liked Drago more the more she looked at him. Look at his small mouth, which looks like his grandfather. It's not like Garp, who is stupid and can't speak. Come back and look at your father's, he is already waiting for you, go. Garp exchanged pleasantries with Aunt Kareem, talked about the current situation, and asked about each other's health. As you get older, your health is the best thing to do. Longevity, health and longevity. Drago opened the candy to see that it was a new pack of candy, a specialty nearby. Aunt Kareem was reluctant to eat it herself, so she specially prepared it for Drago. Garp has grown up, has a son, and is a father. Time flies by so fast. Drago gave Xiaohei a candy. He aunt, eat candy. Xiaohei was embarrassed to refuse, and she bowed her head to welcome Dorag's feeding. Thank you little Dorag for the candy, it's delicious. Well, it's very sweet. Garp next to him is envious, he also wants to eat candy. Drago ignored his gaze, and if he didn't give it, he could give it to anyone he wanted. Garp made fun of himself, snorted coldly, and continued on his way. Xiaohei grinned. The fight between the two fathers and sons was very funny. Fighting since childhood, neither of them bowed their heads. Each other's face is important, and they are not willing to give each other a step down. They haven't reached the mountain yet. Above, a person gallops down. Chen Qingtian galloped down, very fast. Dorag thought someone was attacking them, so he hid behind Xiaohei. Garp stepped forward, getting into a fighting stance. Bring it on. Ha ha, Garp, get out of the way, I need to take a good look at my grandson. Garp stood in front and wouldn't let him pass. The tragedies of the past, today, must have an end. Father is old, if he doesn't do anything, he has no chance. Father, please enlighten me. I'm going to fight you, don't try to run away. Chen Qingtian stopped in his tracks and looked at Garp. Garp, can you put the fighting later, and let the old man see the old man's grandson first? I didn't expect you to find a wife. The old man thought the blood of our family was going to be broken. Good, well done. Chen Qingtian looked at Xiaohei again, and regretfully said, it's a pity, you and Xiaohei have no chance. The relationship between the two is good as long as they are young, childhood sweethearts are not too much. Thought they could get together. Garp also has feelings for Xiaohei. As for Xiaohei, I don't know for sure, but I guess there are. It's just a pity that they couldn't get together. Xiaohei stamped his feet. Uncle, don't talk nonsense. Drago raised his head and carefully looked at Crane Ant and his father Garp, whether they had something to hide from him. Have you? Xiaohei, don't be shy. You should have worked harder to catch the bastard Garp. The old man regarded you as the daughter-in-law of the monkey family. To speak frankly, pierced Xiaohei's heart. Her reserve was broken and she drew her sword. Uncle, don't force me to do it. The two were at war, and there was a gap in their relationship. It is impossible to be together and may maintain this relationship forever. Chen Qingtian touched his head. I don't know how to say hello to you. One or two are too timid. If you like it, chase after it. What are you afraid of? Keep your mind in your heart. Who knows, you can't let the other party guess. Garp's head is nothing but fighting. Whatever he can think of, tell him directly. Garp. My dear father, don't beat around the bush and call me stupid. I understand. Some things, you'd better not talk nonsense. Ahem. Garp coughed. Father, I'm here. I know, what then? Garp was speechless. Father, unscrupulous. An old urchin is an old urchin, and when he is old, he can still do things. Their relationship, they will handle it themselves. Zheng. The shy Xiaohei drew his sword and went up. She didn't want to hear Chen Qingtian say nonsense. Seal Chen Qingtian's mouth. Don't let Drago hear about their affairs, lest he think wildly. Oh, I'm so scared. Xiaohei, Garp, you abuse the elderly, be careful, I will sue you. Garp said contemptuously. He, father, you have today too. Do you know how long I have been waiting for this day? Before, you always cared about me, no matter what I did, you had to love me. Feng Shui turns around. Now, do you know it's wrong? The two who had the upper hand were triumphant. They liked this feeling and enjoy the happiness of their father being crushed and beaten. So happy. The past aggrieved, sad, at this moment, has been released. Drago, standing alone, he was at a loss. It seems that there is a fight. Father and Xiaohei Aunt are angry, they want to find trouble with Grandpa. What should I do? It's not helping anyone. My grandfather is on one side, and my father and Aunt Crane are on the other. Confused, he waited on the spot. He couldn't join their battle, because the difference in strength was too great. Most of his eyes fell on Chen Qingtian, and he dodged most of the attacks of his father and Crane Ant. Grandpa, who was strolling in the garden, ignored the attacks of the two. Drago was stunned. Grandpa is so relaxed, he doesn't look like the one under siege at all. He gestured with ease. There is still time to smile at him, that look, how shocking. Dorag knows the strength of his father Garp best. After he became sensible, he was sent to marine training by his father. As a young man, he has undergone many inhumane trainings, and his mind has surpassed his current age. Crane Ant and his father besieged Grandpa together, but they were unable to cause any harm to Grandpa. It may be that the father and the others restrained their strength and didn't take it seriously. Grandpa is so handsome. When will I be half as handsome as Grandpa? F*K. This punch is fatal. With a punch, he hit his father Garp in the chest, and Garp flew out. knocking down a few big trees. The sheer power is stunning. Crane Ant's sword was held between his two fingers. Floating in between, the blade cannot be pulled out, nor can it go any further. Such a handsome action is fascinating. How handsome. So cool. My grandpa is so handsome. The more you look at it, the more handsome you feel. Before he came, he guessed what kind of person his grandfather would be. Could it be an old man, a dirty old man? After meeting, it didn't match what I thought. She doesn't look very old, and her hair is still black. Looking at the thin and small grandpa, he punched hard. Little Crane, over the years, your swordsmanship has not improved much. Xiaohei pulled out his sword vigorously, but he couldn't pull it out. Humph. Xiaohei, use her devil fruit ability. Blade, slide away. She stretched out her hand, wanting to touch Chen Qingtian. What do you want to do? Xiaohei. Xiaohei's devil fruit, Chen Qingtian still has understanding. Can't be touched by her. Armament hockey, covering the palm of the hand. With a punch in the face, Xiaohei was repelled. Garp's heavy punch was thrown down from the sky. The aesthetics of violence, at this moment, is vividly displayed. The ground, bombed, cracked open. Garp stood up from the ground, blowing away the smoke. On the top of the pit stood Chen Qingtian. He smiled and waved to them. Hey, I said you two are almost done. Do you want to kill the old man? The more they fought, the more angry they became. It seemed that Chen Qingtian wanted to kill him, and Chen Qingtian didn't want to continue to entangle with them. It's meaningless for one's own people to beat one's own people. It costs too much to care for them. They are not what they were years ago. It would take Chen Qingtian a lot of time to take them down. He might as well spend time with his grandson. What a love object, personally delivered to the door. Chen Qingtian looked at Dorag with soft eyes, much like a mother-in-law looks at her son-in-law, and the more she looked at her, the more she liked her. What a handsome lad. The hair color is a bit too much, dyed into traffic lights. I don't know if I can show it. Wearing non-mainstream, tattered clothes, it looks like a lot of effort. Fortunately, he didn't give himself 2 nose rings. Chen Qingtian would worry that he couldn't help it and beat him up violently. Drago waved and smiled. What a kind grandfather, much better than my father. So gentle, so handsome, and my life will be much better in the future. The grandson and grandpa met eyes and almost hugged each other. Garp and the two stopped. They didn't continue to entangle. They had a fight, and it was enough to understand their father's strength. The two looked at each other, and Garp murmured, Father's strength has not degraded, but has become stronger. Garp couldn't test his full strength, giving Garp a headache. Father's strength has always been a mystery, which cannot be seen through or touched. No matter how many times you spar, there is no way to confirm. Keep fighting, and they may stumble. It's very strong, and I still haven't been able to touch his clothes. A little too strong. Xiaohei's swordsmanship is very strong, and he has strengthened his training over the years. Even if she is a staff officer, she still needs to improve her strength. Stop fighting, it's meaningless to continue. It is good. The two stopped in tacit agreement and straightened their clothes. Meet their first teacher, Mr. Chen Qingtian. Good grandson, hurry up and pay respects to grandpa. Drago. Garp. Xiaohei. The old naughty boy is really not easy, and he will give Drago a ruthless meeting. It is right to pay homage. It is no problem for the grandson to pay respects to the grandfather and follow the procedure. Drago was stunned. What's the situation? Let me kneel down when we met. Garp pushed Drago. Go, meet your grandpa. Don't you always want to meet your grandpa? Drago stood in front of Chen Qingtian, blinking. Tried to ask again, can I not kneel down, grandpa? Chen Qingtian ignored his gaze and said, hurry up, don't dawdle. Garp wished his grandpa could educate his son. He urged, Dorag, speed up. Two people, educate Dorag together. Xiaohei was at the side trying to persuade him, but Chen Qingtian gave him a look back. She didn't dare to talk nonsense, but in her heart, she was still afraid of Chen Qingtian. There were 3 adults at the scene, 2 were watching the show, and 1 was eating melons. Good grandson, do you think grandpa is not qualified enough? Bucking the hat, Drago couldn't bear it. He opened his mouth to explain. Chen Qingtian continued, or do you think this old man is not worthy to be your grandfather? It is only natural for a grandson to visit his grandfather. When you meet for the first time, you have to salute anyway. In a state of etiquette, how can we not respect the old and love the young? Old in front, young in behind. First there is the old, and then there is the young. Dorag was under pressure from many parties, and he laughed bitterly. Non-mainstream traffic lights, let you dress up as a hooligan. The old man can't understand your non-mainstream, so I want to care and love you at the beginning. Dorag. Garp's voice got louder, he was going to be angry. When I see my father, I have to bow down. You are my son. If you don't kneel down when you see my father, you don't take my father seriously. Drago took a deep breath. As a young man, it was the first time he tried to feel warm and cold in the world. It turned out that his father was also afraid of his father. Sure enough, his father was his son's nemesis. Grandson Drago pays homage to grandpa. Drago had no choice but to see him. Chen Qingtian complained, your name is Dorag? Back to grandpa, yes. The name is so-so, who gave it to you? Drago looked at Garp, I won't say it, but I won't cover it up. Garp curled his lips and said, why don't you give him a name, father? Anyway, he thinks that the name Dorag is not good. Changing it to another name might make his son turn over a new leaf. Forget it, it's such a hassle, Drago will be Drago. Chen Qingtian made the final decision, he didn't like to change other people's names. In front of Garp's son, at least give Garp a little face. Okay. This kid will follow me, you guys go back. Garp. I'm going to cross the river and demolish the bridge. You are a real dog. Father, Xiaohei and I haven't eaten yet. Do you still want this old man to cook for you? Don't dare. Dare not, father, I'll do it for you. Garp was so frightened that he hurriedly explained. For this meal, the chef is Garp, Xiaohei is the helper, and Drago is the one who lights the fire. Chen Qingtian, responsible for meals and comments. It was the first time in Dorag's life that he ate meals cooked by his father. In his impression, his father could not cook. He never cooked once, and once thought that his father was useless except for fighting. Today, he unlocked a new father, well-behaved, obedient, in front of grandpa, father, dare not fart. Think about the majesty of the father in the marine, whoever sees him must shout Vice Admiral Garp. A bunch of titles, in grandpa's place, don't work. Cooking by himself, he contracted the kitchen by himself. Tasty. Drago couldn't help but look at his father twice more. In the past, he had a narrow vision and didn't see the difference in his father. It turns out that my father has been playing me. He was numb, and his father thought he was innocent, but he didn't expect it. Garp sat eating opposite Chen Qingtian, and he looked at his father. Energetic, a little thinner and older. There are more wrinkles on the face. Father, how have you been all these years? Haha, it's okay, you can eat, drink and sleep. The only downside is that you don't have a beautiful woman by your side, haha. His eyes aimed at Xiaohei. Xiaohei complained. Old and unscrupulous, no matter how old you are, you still think of little girls like others. He gave Chen Qingtian another look, are you okay? If not, don't mess around. I'm a normal man too, and every man wants to see beautiful women, right, Garp? Garp hawed and hawed, concentrating on eating the barbecue. He didn't hear what was going on outside the window, and he didn't want to answer his father's words, all of them were lies. I was accidentally tricked by my father, and I didn't know it yet. Garp knows exactly what his father thinks. By the way, what's the matter with you, Garp? Why did you suddenly get married? Drago next to him is also curious, what is the path of love between his parents? Is it bumpy? Is it legendary? For the news of his mother, Dorag doesn't know much, only knows that he has a mother. I grew up by myself and grew up surrounded by marine. Hey. Garp sighed. Father, when the son wants to tell you, he will naturally tell you. Now is not the time. Taking a sip of wine, Garp's face became more lonely. A little helpless and sad. He didn't say anything, and Chen Qingtian didn't force him to ask. As for Xiaohei, sitting by the side, listening to them talk. The small eyes always looked at Garp, and she was also curious about the identity of Garp's wife, and when she asked Garp, Garp hesitated and couldn't explain why. Go ask Sengoku. Sengoku never mentions this matter. It's as if he doesn't know anything. Forget it, you can handle your own affairs. You are already a father. Time flies. Back then, you were still the same age as Dorag. In the blink of an eye, they all grew up. Garp has become a father, and the young man back then, in a blink of an eye, has grown up and matured. It was his fault for not being able to witness his son's marriage with his own eyes. Also a loss. Father is sorry for not being able to preside over the wedding ceremony for you in person. Garp lowered his head and smiled wryly. It's okay, besides, I don't intend to serve wine. Chen Qingtian lowered his head and stroked his chin. He stroked Drago's head, poor boy. This is the real orphan. Dorag is miserable. Father doesn't have time to take care of you, and neither does mother. Oh, I will live with Grandpa from now on. Drago nodded violently. He thought that his life would usher in happiness. Grandpa will protect you from now on. You can walk sideways on this small island. Chen Qingtian Hockey said that this island can indeed walk sideways. Because he can't get out of this kind of mountain. Garp casts a pitying look. Xiaohei sympathizes. They thought to themselves, Dorag, you will soon know what a nightmare is. Horrible things are coming, and you're still thinking you're going to live a happy life. Good luck. Xiaohei, what about you, don't you plan to find one? As for the old man, I also want to hug your children. I couldn't witness Garp's wedding. I'm free for your wedding. Xiaohei's face was reddish, and he turned his head to look outside. She rubbed her little hands. Very cute. What? Didn't find a suitable one. Chen Qingtian continued to urge. Find a suitable one, bring it to uncle to see, and uncle will help you palm your eyes. Xiaohei was even more shy. He bowed his head, not daring to say anything. And Garp, playing with the firelight. Holding a wooden stick, I kept fiddled with it, and occasionally pulled it on the ground. Drago's eyes turned back and forth between the two, looking at this for a while and looking at that for a while. Finally, he looked at Grandpa. My grandfather seemed to be very powerful, and he suppressed the two of them all at once. Look at them in front of Grandpa, they are as well behaved as children. Forget it. Forget it, I don't care about your shit, I just want to get together with Dorag. We ate and chatted. You guys, it's time to go too. Don't stay here in the eyes, I don't want to see you too. Under the order to chase away guests, Garp and Xiaohei didn't expect the old man to be so fast. They had a good chat just now, but now you start to chase people away. Father, I want to stay with you for a while. Roll. Chen Qingtian flicked his sleeves. I don't need your company, I have plenty of time in the future. Garp blinked, unable to hold back the old man, and sighed helplessly. Xiaohei smiled and said, Uncle, let's sit for a while and leave soon. Chen Qingtian gave Xiaohei a blank look, and said, Xiaohei, Garp, aren't you busy? Hurry up, serious business is important. I'm a bad old man, there's nothing to see. If you want to see me in the future, just come back anytime. The two hesitated to speak. Don't you worry about it. The old man has a long life. If you are dead, the old man will not die. You are really my good sons and daughters, are you looking forward to my death every day? Garp and Xiaohei smiled awkwardly, they were indeed afraid. The time spent together is getting less and less, and they are afraid that when they come back in the future, their father's grave will be as tall as grass. Get out. Don't get in the way here. The two were blown away, and they are not welcome here for the time being. Chen Qingtian didn't want to get involved with them. Marines and pirates were all troubles. Dorag, let's go play. Drago jumped up excitedly, he can go to play. So happy. He didn't forget to provoke his father. Did you see how kind my grandfather was to me? How about you, HMPH? If you don't play for me, Grandpa will take me to play, what can you do to me? The shy Dorag kept winking at Garp, but Garp wasn't angry, he just smiled faintly. Dorag, you have to take care of Grandpa. If something happens to Grandpa, you are the only one to ask. I know. If you have anything to do, don't look for me, and don't call me, understand? Garp repeatedly urged. Dorag thought he had heard wrong, so he didn't want to look for you. As you said, I, Drago, will not find you even if I die. After finally leaving you, do you think I want to go back to that ghostly place? Garp stayed with Xiaohei for a while, and saw that Dorag followed Chen Qingtian away, and the two of them came back to their senses. They looked at each other and smiled. Dorag was so miserable, he thought that what greeted him was a happy life, but he didn't know, hey. Dorag couldn't laugh very quickly, I don't think he could hold on for a day. Xiaohei spoke indifferently, and if Duo Lage's character met the old man, he would be treated badly. Think about when they were young, they tried every means to target the old man, but the old man saw through them all. Ushering in better revenge, the old man has a strange personality and is in a good mood, so he will give you more training. I'm in a bad mood, and I have to beat you violently in addition to increasing my training. They were afraid that the old man would say when he saw Dorag, will you resist beating? Fortunately, the old man knew how to measure, temporarily stabilize Drago, and lured the children into being fooled. One day. No, he might give up in 1 hour. Garp looked down on his son, and he said ruthlessly, with his character, it's not bad to be able to stay here, but with my father around, I'm not worried. Father, very insidious. he can know what you are going to do and take precautions in advance. The more things he did, the happier his father was. He likes to tease children, suppressing them again and again, breaking their hearts. When Garp and others were young, they shut themselves off once a day. Not autistic, sorry for Chen Qingtian's education. I agree with Uncle's strength. Over the years, his strength is still very strong. Unable to detect anything, Xiaohe touched his glasses. With ease, no matter who the opponent is, he will not use his full strength. No one has asked him to give it his all. Uncle is professional in educating people, and he has a sense of measure. After staying here for a month, Drago will be reborn. Not to mention a few years, according to the mission of Garp and others, it is impossible to return to East Blue in the next few years. The situation in New World has fallen into a period of calm. It is tranquility that is the scariest thing. The calm before the storm. Let's go, Xiaohe. The two went down the mountain side by side, just like the three of them back then. We also went down the mountain together, but it was sneaky back then. Today, above board. Suddenly, Garp stopped. Turn your head and stare at the home behind you. He showed a gentle smile. Home is here. His efforts were not in vain, and they could all live in peace. On the hill. Drago followed Chen Qingtian to the top of the mountain, staring curiously around, as if he had discovered the new world. He looked left and right. The messy hillside has already been covered with grass. There are no traces of the training of Garp and others back then, and a little bit can be seen vaguely. People who come for the first time will not think there is anything wrong with this place. Under the cliff is another forest. Drago stood on the top of the mountain, opening his hands to welcome the baptism of the wind. He likes this place. So quiet and so comfortable. It's like a child discovers a toy, looking around and walking around. He saw several boulders and walked over to have a look. After touching it, he even wanted to show his grandpa his strength. Hugging the boulder with all his strength, he tremblingly picked it up. The power is so great that it looks like Garp back then. Grandpa, I'm not good. Drago came over to claim credit and showed Chen Qingtian his arm. Is it very strong? These are the results of his training in Marine. Chen Qingtian smiled and nodded. Excellent, my grandson is the most powerful. Come on, I have a little bit of foundation, and I will be better educated later. First, Chen Qingtian had to ask his precious grandson. My dear grandson, what is your dream? This familiar sentence seems to have been heard somewhere. Drago replied casually. I want to be a promising man. Dreams are good. Children must know how to set up a great dream for themselves. Garp's education is also good, 1/10 of his level. It's a pity that it's a lot worse, like your father? Drago shook his head violently. No, I don't want to be like him, I want to be stronger and more promising than him. I want everyone to know my name, and I want them to smile happily when they hear my name. Dreams are great. You are young and ambitious. Chen Qingtian stroked his head, always thinking about his hair. This kid, why does he like to have non-mainstream hairstyles? When I was young, I started to play tricks. Grandpa, can you leave my hair alone? It took me an hour to get my hair done this morning. Chen Qingtian smiled and let go. He said, the head can be broken, the blood can flow, and the hairstyle can't be messed up. Dorag stood up excitedly when he heard the motto of life. He kept saying this sentence in his mouth, and the more he listened, the brighter his eyes became. The head can be broken, the blood can flow, and the hairstyle can't be messed up. The head can be broken, the blood can flow, and the hairstyle can't be messed up. Yes, that's it. My hair should not be messed up. Whoever messes up my hairstyle is going to have trouble with me. Drago held Grandpa's hand, as if he had found a confidant. Thank you so much. Unexpectedly, he found a confidant in the vast crowd. Those people who didn't understand themselves before, their injustice and slander against themselves, have been released at this moment. Found the organization, he is not alone. Grandpa was standing beside him. Grandfather. Good grandson. Grandfather. Good grandson. Such a loving picture of grandpa and grandson hugging together. Feeling each other's hearts, they find soulmates, and they are no longer alone. The lonely Dorag found comfort. For a long time, separate. Chen Qingtian asked again. Grandson, what do you want to do most now? Drago closed his eyes and thought for a while, then said, play. Grandpa. Grandson just wants to play. His dream has changed, now his dream is to play, to have a good time. When you come to a new place, how can you not play? Strange world, full of all kinds of strange things. If you want to play, you can. Grandpa will take you to play, okay? Really? Grandpa, don't lie to me. Really, Grandpa likes to play too. Play. There are many concepts. According to my personal understanding, in Chen Qingtian's mind, playing is cultivation. Compared with fighting, working, and practicing are indeed the same as playing. He took Drago back to the door of the house, pointing to the wasteland not far away. After going home for a month, he cleaned everything in the house and tidied up his yard. He gave up on tidying up part of the land outside. The good grandson is coming, how can we not give him a little surprise? Go ahead and have fun. Drago stared wide-eyed, looking at Grandpa in disbelief. He is more looking at the hoe his grandfather handed him. Isn't he going to play? What are you doing with my hoe? Chen Qingtian pointed to the grass in front of him. He was taller than a man, and his workload was not small. Go play. What are you looking at me for? Drago blinked. No, Grandpa, I'm talking about playing, not working. Yeah, this is just for fun. Chen Qingtian pointed at the grass in front, weeding, isn't it just for fun? What we play in the countryside refers to this, isn't it in the city? At that moment, Drago's worldview collapsed. He thought that his thoughts and Grandpa's thoughts were the same, but he didn't expect that there would be such a big contrast. Grandpa, no, what I want is to play, not work, weeding, just work. Every inch of Drago's body is refusing to work, which is what other people do. He won't do it. Taking out a sum of money, Dorag said boldly. Grandpa, I'll give you the money, can you hire someone to weed the grass? There was a lot of money, so Chen Qingtian took it away. Put it in your purse, and stuff it into your arms. Grandpa, money. What money, where is the money, don't talk nonsense. Chen Qingtian opened his eyes and said nonsense. He didn't see money, how could that kind of thing appear here? Hurry up and play, don't be lazy, I will keep an eye on you. Holding hands, he seriously urged Drago to work. You can refuse, but you have to be aware of the consequences. Drago stretched out his hand, he pointed to Chen Qingtian's arms, and said loudly, Grandpa, money, my money. What are you talking about? I can't hear you. Pretending to be a deaf old man, Chen Qingtian pretended not to hear. It is impossible to spit out what is in his hand. The money was confiscated. Children can't bring so much money, it's very dangerous, let Grandpa keep it for you. Grandpa, that's my money, you give it back to me. Drago wanted to do something, he was so angry, he didn't expect that Grandpa would even snatch the children's money. Is there any reason for this, and is there any reason for heaven? What about your morals? That's my New Year's money. I've worked so hard to save it until now. You can't take it away. Chen Qingtian blinked and said, Good grandson, stop dreaming, you are still a child, how can you be rich? That's Grandpa's money, I can't give it to you. In the blink of an eye, his own money became Grandpa's money, and Dorag couldn't tell. His eyes were red, he was tricked by his grandfather. Holding a hoe, he experienced darkness for the first time. Swallowed his money and slandered him for talking nonsense. There is no law. Grandpa, you are lying. It is obviously my money. I took it out. Don't try to embezzle my money. Resist tenaciously, don't let him get caught. So much money, take it all away. Does your conscience ache? Chen Qingtian pouted. Good grandson, if you want money, you can ask Grandpa, but you can't slander Grandpa. Grandpa is an elder. How could he swallow your money? Besides, how much money do you have? A few Baileys, Grandpa doesn't bother to take yours. Don't make trouble, let's play. Drago's eyes widened, and he pointed at Chen Qingtian. The darkness of society and the terror of people's hearts are vividly reflected at this moment. In the past, Crane Ant said that people outside could not believe it, he thought it was a joke. Unexpectedly, the outside is even more terrifying than what Crane Ant said. My own people can't believe it either. Look at Grandpa, this Grandpa is so shameless. No wonder he and his father took pity on him before he left, he thought they were jealous of him. It turned out not to be because I misunderstood it. They really pity themselves. Hurry up and work, you have to clean up this area today. Maybe it can't be done, there is no food tonight. Chen Qingtian, showing his evil eyes. Work, no food. I don't raise useless people here. Don't get involved with me, right now, I'm your boss. Whatever I tell you, you do. You are just a slave I bought back, and you are not qualified to speak. Grandpa, I'm your good grandson. Chen Qingtian picked his nose. Don't make trouble, so what about a good grandson, your grandpa? I even beat my own son, let alone grandson. Hurry up, stop talking nonsense. Believe it or not, this old man tricked you. The vicious grandpa wants to hit someone. Drago swallowed a mouthful of saliva with difficulty. He couldn't believe everything in front of him. The kind and lovely grandpa, in the blink of an eye, became a devil. Pick up a hoe. The hero will not suffer the immediate loss. I'll do it. Don't hit me. Those who know the current affairs are heroes, and Drago is not Garp and the others, who insist on resisting. Knowing that he couldn't do anything, he wanted to hide himself and stabilize the enemy. When it was over, he would go to his father to complain about Grandpa. HMPH, when the time comes, I'll see how you explain to your father and the others. He didn't believe that his father didn't come back to save him. Even if his father is cruel, Aunt Crane will come back. Working. Dorag worked against the fierce sun. So hot. So tired. Grandpa is sitting under the big tree, eating fruits and enjoying delicious food. The situation of the two is very different. Drago was eager to eat fruit, and his saliva drool all over the place. Hurry up. Don't be lazy. You don't have much time, and you haven't finished before dinner. You're going to be hungry tonight. When Drago heard it, no, let me work, but not give me food. Believe it or not, I will sue you. Do you know what the law is? It is against the law to employ child labor and abuse children. Grandfather. Stop. Don't call me Grandpa. No matter how nicely you call, Grandpa won't let you rest. Hurry up. Don't be lazy. I'm watching you. My eyes have been staring at you. Don't try to be lazy under my nose. Drago wanted to cry. The chance to be lazy was gone. Grandpa stared at him the whole time. He couldn't run away. Grandpa is very powerful. At least it is easy to deal with. Can't fight, can't run, can only develop wretchedly. In the blink of an eye, an hour passed. Dorag always wants to be lazy when working, and the hot sun makes him suffocate. Sweat dripped down. Today's workload far exceeded the sum of all his previous workloads. So tired. I want to drink water. I want to rest. I want to eat fruit. Grandpa, still staring at him. Gobble up the fruit and make him greedy. Want some fruit? Drago nodded. He wanted to eat. Mouth dry, throat burning. He gave money, so what if I gave him a piece of fruit? Grandpa, can you? Yes, as long as you finish your work, you can eat whatever you want. Grandpa is not a cruel person. Chen Qingtian pointed to the fruit next to him and said, see, this bunch of fruit is for you. Grandpa will give it to you as long as you complete today's task. Really? Drago came to power and had fruit to eat, so it was naturally different. If it was the first time he came here, if he said that the fruit was a reward, Chen Qingtian would not be a bird. Now, it's different, and the fruit is very useful. Of course it's true. You are my grandson. How could Grandpa deceive his grandson? Dorag slanders Grandpa in his heart. What about your face? Whoever robs children of their New Year's money will not count what they say. Who abuses children? Grandpa is so nice. Haha. You have a good eye. I think I have always been good, haha. A compliment gave Chen Qingtian great satisfaction. Grandson, you have great eyesight. The old man started to like you a little bit. Grandpa, you are so handsome. I feel so too. Grandpa, you are so fierce. Shish, don't say it, we just need to know. Grandpa, can you give me a piece of fruit? Cannot. Drago. Believe it or not, I collect all 7 Dragon Balls, summon the dragon, and kill you with one move. Monked Dragon. Dorag is the boss of the future revolutionary army. If you dare to treat me like this, believe it or not, I will let my more than 1 million brothers kill you. Each of them can drown you with a spit. If you are sensible, now, immediately, give me a piece of fruit. Grandpa, can you have a poor grandson? Grandson really can't take it anymore. Drago's acting skills are not bad, but his precarious body will fall at any time. Chen Qingtian picked up a piece of fruit and ate it slowly. Biting one bite at a time, the juice of the fruit spilled all over the ground. You can't eat, you can only watch, it will kill you. The goal was achieved. Chen Qingtian continued to perform. Drago wanted to die. I would faint, but you were eating fruit. Grandpa, please. Seeing how pitiful you are, Grandpa will give you a piece of fruit. Throw out a piece. Drago picked it up hungrily, wanting to eat. He was dumbfounded. Where is the fruit thrown over? It is obviously the peel of the fruit. Someone throws him the peel of a fruit after eating, and wants him to eat the peel. He exploded. Drago threw it back hard. He, Drago, would rather die than eat the peel. Humph. A grandson with a temper, yes, Chen Qingtian likes it very much. You continue to become angry from embarrassment, and Chen Qingtian likes it more and more. My good grandson has a stubborn personality. No wonder the Garp boy is willing to send it here. He must not be able to handle it. It's a good thing to have a temper, but it's not a good thing to have a temper too much. You haven't experienced hardships at a young age, and you don't know how difficult life is, so let Grandpa take good care of you. My good grandson, you have to persevere, and you can't give up. The reason why Garp sent him here, Chen Qingtian understood. Observe for a while and you will see the problem. His own grandson seems to have the attributes of a bear child. Compared with his father Garp, he is much weaker. Excessive love raised a lawless character. Fortunately, his character is not bad. It's got to hone in on his character, and then you start working on him. Compared with strength, character comes first. Chen Qingtian's training has always been done step by step, first looking at character, and then looking at other things. You can be weak in strength, but you can't be poor in character. It's a matter of principle. He doesn't want to teach rubbish in the future. Ding. Your precious grandson has a lot of complaints about you, surpassing anyone he knows. It can be seen that your care is very effective. Seeing my good grandson on the first day, you gave him an unforgettable memory. Maybe you will become the person he wants to kill the most in his life, not one of them. Young Lang Dorag, he needs more tempering. He is a unique talent. You must implement a comprehensive training plan to train him into a qualified 3-good student. Mission. Give him enough care to make up for the part that was missing when he was a child. Reward. Very generous. Remarks. The rebellious young man has a stubborn personality and is prone to contradict you. Be careful of his outrageous behavior. Why are the people in my family all rebellious teenagers? 1 or 2 are like this. Are they not angry with themselves and don't give up? Dorag, who lacks love, just needs his help. Good grandson, you wait for Grandpa to love you. Grandpa's love is irreplaceable. Hoo-hoo. So tired. I'm dying. Dorag, complete the mission. Knowing that you can only rely on yourself, Grandpa, you will not soften your heart. He will not let go until he completes the task. Rather than wasting time, it is better to end the tragedy quickly. Back to where Chen Qingtian was, he had already fallen asleep. Fruit. There is 1 piece left. Everything else was eaten by him. A bunch of fruit, 1 piece left. No more, no less, exactly 1 piece of fruit. It's the size of a finger, not enough for a bite. Drago stared at the fruit, clenched his fists, and stared angrily at the sleeping Grandpa. After patting Grandpa awake, he asked, Grandpa, where are the fruits? Chen Qingtian fell into a drowsy sleep and was awakened by someone. He opened his eyes and found that it was his grandson. Looking at the time again, a long time has passed. Sun, not so hot. Wait a little longer, and you may see the afterglow of dusk. Fruit, hey, isn't it in your hand? Grateful for eating fruit, which is specially reserved for you. Others want it, but I may not give it to you. If it weren't for the sake of you being my grandson, I wouldn't have this one. Drago. Alas. How could he speak so confidently? Obviously he did something wrong, but he even said it was to save face. There is no reason for this. Don't you want to eat? It's just right, give it to me, Grandpa is hungry. Drago ate it in 1 bite, not giving Chen Qingtian any of it. He sort of understood that Grandpa was a scoundrel. Even more rascal than his father, at least he has a conscience. Grandpa, this old 6th is not trustworthy, he clearly agreed, but he actually. My dear grandson, are you done? Humph. Drago snorted coldly, not showing Chen Qingtian a good face. Chen Qingtian walked through him and went straight to the grass. Check it out, well done. Well done, to Chen Qingtian's standards. My grandson is not useless, at least he does things from the beginning to the end, he will not give up halfway, and he will not deal with it casually. Not bad, you did a good job, Dorag, you are indeed the grandson of this old man. Credit. Suddenly became Chen Qingtian's. The scene that surprised Duo Lage came. Chen Qingtian picked up the hoe and hoed the ground. Just 1, no more. Then he put down the hoe, flexed his muscles and said, oh, I'm so tired. After working hard all afternoon, I finally got a part of it done. Today's task is overfulfilled, so reward yourself well. Drago. Can you still do this? Your sister, you act, at least perform a full set. Can you stop coming to disgusting people? Obviously I did it, but in the end, it was you who did it. Where is your face? How angry. Drago's efforts were taken away. It is equivalent to that you have completed the task, the credit belongs to others, and all the rewards have nothing to do with yourself. Grandfather. What are you doing? Grandpa is not deaf. Can you speak in a lower voice? What if you scare Grandpa? Chen Qingtian said. Look at you, you don't do anything. Can you be sensible and help Grandpa share the burden? Dorag blinked. No, you still come, that's too much. Drago looked behind him, not knowing why Grandpa said that. There were guests. A woman came up with something, greeted Chen Qingtian, put down her things, and went down the mountain. And Drago, looking at Dayton going away, fell into confusion. In the next second, he reacted and shouted down the mountain. Not what you see. This pot, I have decided on my own. Within a quarter of an hour, his reputation as a lazy eater was confirmed. Drago was about to go crazy. He didn't expect that his fame would be ruined overnight. It was just a short time, less than 10 minutes before and after, his reputation was gone. Abusing Grandpa, letting Grandpa work, resting by himself, lazy child, this column of titles is installed on his head. Maybe, if he went to a small town, he would be despised by others. Alas. Hopeless. He couldn't stay in this small town. Grandpa. Why did you frame me? Chen Qingtian smiled and shook his hands. Don't speak so harshly. What framed you? Please go through your brain before speaking. I was doing the work just now, right? Drago despised it. Is that what you call work? It's clearly acting. It's not an exaggeration to award you a few movie stars. How can he act? You are resting, and I am working. I didn't tell you to rest. You rested yourself. If you are misunderstood, you can't blame Grandpa. Grandpa, I care about my grandson very much. If there are good things, I will leave them for my grandson as soon as possible. Have you seen that piece of land? It was the country that Grandpa laid down for you. Grandpa kept it for you on purpose, waiting for you to clean it up. Originally, Grandpa has already cleaned up half of it. I thought you were coming, but no, I will leave it all to you. Chen Qingtian pointed to his own land. All the surrounding areas belonged to him, and all of them were left to Drago. There is a lot of land in the small town, most of which are not suitable for planting. Where no one wants, what you say is yours is yours. I don't necessarily make it for others if they want it. As for you, you won the heart of Grandpa. As for Grandpa, I believe you can do it, right? Looking up, there is no end in sight. Dorag is autistic. For a moment, I don't want to speak. He wanted to leave this ghostly place and his grandfather. Before, Grandpa was acting the whole time, and I didn't notice it at all. He didn't expose himself, and Drago didn't even know that Grandpa was so weird. This is what Kanbaru saw in the eyes of his father and Crane before Ant left. No wonder his father told him to take care of himself. It was a big hole, and he jumped into it. Father, you hurt me. Crying in my heart, complaining about my father. My father was too unkind to treat me like this. If you have any dissatisfaction, just say it directly, and he will change it. It is necessary to send this ghost place. I want to leave, but I don't know if I can leave. No, tonight, I must leave this ghost place. After Grandpa falls asleep at night, I will leave here. Not wanting to stay for a moment, Drago was convinced. That piece of land will take at least a month of work. In addition to weeding, we also have to hoe the ground, and there are all kinds of work that can't be done. If he wanted to work, he could work till he died. Grandpa is so kind to me. Stabilize Grandpa first, and don't let him doubt himself. Drago smiled, making himself as normal as possible. Chen Qingtian didn't even look at him. Little thing, you have too much on your mind. In his territory, no matter how much you think about it, it's useless. In this place, not everyone can come and leave if they want. Good grandson, work hard, Grandpa will treat you well. Afraid to pat Drago on the shoulder, Chen Qingtian ordered, go, cook. Dinner, I leave it to you. As for me, I am in charge of overseeing the work. Can you cook? Drago frowned, with a bitter face. Cooking is technical work. It just so happens that Drago won't. You said it was a coincidence. No, it's good. Dorag thought he had escaped, and was thinking of being happy. Unexpectedly, Grandpa said a word. I'll practice for you this time. Go, Grandpa won't dislike you. Cheers to Drago, you have to do well. What to eat for dinner, rich or not, depends on your skills. Grandpa is optimistic about you, young man. Drago blinked, he pointed at himself, he didn't believe in his skills. Are you sure you can rest assured? Chen Qingtian nodded seriously, you can, go ahead. Then he lay down and waited for his meal. Anyway, I don't know how to cook. If you want to eat, you have to do it yourself. living comfortably without anybody's help. Drago looked at the kitchen, how to cook. He had the impression of watching other people cook, but he was distressed when he did it himself. Hey, it seems that you have to rely on yourself. Grandpa is unreliable. I'm still a child. How can Grandpa? Grandpa has no heart of mercy, so he will not pity him. The sad Dorag can only try to cook by himself. After a while, he successfully cooked. Burn the fire and watch the fire. When cooking rice with firewood, you must control the heat, otherwise it will burn. Squatting by the flames to watch, carefully controlling the fire. Whether you can have a meal depends on your own operation. Feeling all right, he extinguished the flame. Let the charcoal fires slowly suffocate, which can increase the taste of the rice. Going to cook. Grandpa prepared a lot of dishes, and some meat dishes brought by the beauty Dayton. Enough for them to eat for a while. What to cook, he thought for a while, and made the few dishes he often ate, simple and not complicated. He started his performance, cooking, which he didn't usually do at home, but today, he tried all of them. Not bad, looks good. Chen Qingtian seemed to be sleeping, but in fact, he was staring at Drago cooking. I thought he would run into a wall, but I didn't expect that he was so savvy that he was able to finish the first meal. It looks good, but I don't know how it tastes. Serve the dishes on the table and eat. Grandpa, try your grandson's cooking skills. Don't say anything bad about it. If you think it's good, please praise me. He is not polite to Grandpa. This meal is the one he puts the most effort into. After this meal, at night, he would sneak away. I don't want to stay in this ghost place for a moment. Haha, it's the first time I eat food cooked by my good grandson. I must eat 3 bowls of rice. Chen Qingtian, who laughed heartily, asked Duo Lage to pack the rice for himself, and then tried the first bite. The rice is okay, but there is a little too much water, and the heat is so well controlled that it can barely be eaten. Try the dish again, the dish made by the grandson. Chen Qingtian, try a piece. It's not salty or bland, and it's just right. You won't believe it if you say it's the first time cooking. Talent is much better than his father Garp. With so many children, his culinary talent is the best. How is it? Grandpa. Drago didn't dare to move his chopsticks. He stared at Chen Qingtian, letting his grandfather be a guinea pig, he would be relatively safe. Chen Qingtian put down his chopsticks, savored carefully, and said, overall, it's not bad, barely enough to eat. There's still a long way to go before I'm satisfied. You have to work harder. Yes, Grandpa. Dorag breathed a sigh of relief, as long as Grandpa is not angry. He can eat with peace of mind. It was his first time cooking and he was able to succeed, thanks to his extraordinary talent. Tried a sip and it tasted good. Satisfied, he ate 3 bowls of rice in one go and was full. Go wash the dishes, good grandson. Okay, Grandpa. Whatever Grandpa tells you to do, what Dorag does, you can't say, no. Cooking and washing dishes, bathing and washing clothes, all things alone. He does his own thing, and Grandpa does his own thing, so he barely has a conscience. After Dorag finished everything, he spoke to Grandpa. Grandpa, I'm going to bed. Go and rest early. Chen Qingtian turned around and told, the forest is dangerous at night, don't run around. Young man, don't say Grandpa didn't remind you. If you walk around at night, it will be dangerous. After finishing speaking, Chen Qingtian went to sleep, leaving Duo Lage dumbfounded. His thinking seems to have been seen through. Is it dangerous outside? What could be the danger? Looking around, it was pitch black, and there was no danger in sight. HMPH, you want to fool me again, so I don't believe what you say. Grandpa's reputation in Dorag's heart has dropped to a very low level. He fell to the bottom, without any credibility. Entering the room, Dorag was lying on the bed, did not fall asleep, he was waiting for Grandpa to fall asleep. His things have already been packed, and he has made all preparations to leave here. At night, the night is hazy. Under the moonlight, a small figure slowly walked out of the door. Moving slowly, he went out carefully, and then closed the door. Control the strength with both hands and try not to make any noise to wake up Grandpa. On tiptoe, he walked out of the yard lightly. Looking back, Grandpa was still sound asleep, and he didn't notice that he had run away from home. Grandpa, grandson is gone, you have to take care of yourself. Damn it, he's leaving. Return to Naval Headquarters and make those Marines welcome their return. Monkey D. Drago, I'm going back. If you want to go down the mountain, you have to go through the forest. He entered the dark forest and disappeared from view. After he entered, a person appeared behind him. Chen Qingtian folded his hands, smiled and followed behind Dorag, knowing that he would not sleep peacefully. On the first night, he started to run away from home, more courageous than Garp and the others. My precious grandson, you will soon find out that Grandpa's house is the safest place. This place, not everyone can mess around. The forest tonight is probably very interesting. The arrival of the grandson will add different hustle and bustle to the forest that has been silent for more than 10 years. Chen Qingtian stepped into the forest and followed behind his grandson. Ah! Roar! In the forest, the roar of wild beasts spread all around. They are fighting, to live, but also to survive. In the blink of an eye, the quiet forest has become a paradise for beasts. The night of killing is about to begin. Dorag was frightened, shivering, and hid in the treehole, not daring to move. The surrounding movement is very loud, big, wild beasts keep appearing. Seemingly smelling a strange smell, several beasts walked towards Drago. It was a pack of wolves, with ferocious eyes, red, walking over step by step. Drago held the burden, he didn't dare to look back. The pressure behind him made it difficult for him to breathe. Fear came step by step. Danger stopped behind him. The wolf lowered its head and breathed towards Drago. The stench of saliva dripped to the ground. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. Surrounded by wolves. Excited, they found their prey. And it was a very weak prey. They had been hungry for a long time, and at this moment, they wanted to rush up and tear Drago to pieces. Fear, oppressing Drago's nerves. Unable to stay any longer, he couldn't take it anymore, jumped out of the hole, and rushed forward. Come on. Damn it. Why are they staring at me and chasing after me? The wolves behind were very excited, they liked seeing Dorag running wildly. The more the prey struggled, the more excited they became. Surrounded by them, Drago wanted to run, but he couldn't get out of the encirclement. It will only compress the circle, getting smaller and smaller. Drago found something wrong. A wolf appeared ahead. There are also wolves chasing after him. Left and right, come out a wolf. They tease Drago, you keep running, we won't kill you. Surround you, slowly torment you, tear you apart. Drago was terrified, he didn't expect the forest to be really dangerous. Grandpa didn't lie to me. Damn old man. What he said is true and false, I can't tell which ones are true and which ones are false. It's horrible, he must have done it on purpose. Knowing that it was so dangerous, he said that on purpose. Rebellious teenagers don't like to hear irony, the more you say that, the more they will go. Going wild and crazy are what teenagers should have. Today, it seems that I can't get out. Gritting his teeth, he bound the package. Drago picked up the stick and faced the wolves. Come on. Come here, either you will die today, or I, Dorag, will die. Come all, he is not afraid of them. In terms of momentum, it is stronger than the opponent. The wolves didn't eat his tricks and came forward collectively. The battle begins. The battle of wolves is disciplined, and the attack of each wolf is arranged. There are covers, frontal attacks, and sneak attacks. The distribution of wolves is different, and the places where they attack are also different. Ah! One wolf fell, then a second, and a third. The wolf kept falling and howling. Drago's wooden stick accurately knocked down the ferocious wolves. The wounds on his body gradually increased. Every attack of the wolves will bring him harm. The fallen wolf pack cannot affect the attack of other wolf packs. They should attack, they are always attacking, and they will not stop until they take down Dorag. Death is inevitable. There are a lot of them, and a little consumption is nothing. Ah! The alpha wolf roared and assigned tasks. The wolves started the latest wave of charge. They felt Drago's strength and his rules. Adjust the position and walk around Dorag. They are not like beasts, but like people. Excellent discipline, teamwork, and their ability to follow orders. The head wolf is in charge of scheduling. Drago frowned. Damn. These wolves are different from the ones I know, they are very smart. When encountering a different wolf, Drago's inner hope was extinguished. He can only do his best. Tonight is destined to be a night of fighting. On the treetop, Chen Qingtian stood on it. Looking down at Drago's battle, everything is a coincidence and has nothing to do with him. This time, he really didn't do anything wrong, it was all due to Dograg's bad luck, and he encountered the most difficult pack of wolves when he went out. Inside this forest, the most dangerous thing is the pack of wolves in front of them. They have dealt with humans a lot, and know how to observe human behavior, so as to make a series of adjustments. That wolf is not the descendant of those wolves back then. Poor Dorag, why do you think you are so unlucky? You will encounter everything. Grandpa wants to see how you escape from danger. Does not sleep at night, likes to run around. If you don't listen to the old man's words, you will suffer in front of your eyes. You can't be willful when you are away from home. Ah. The wolves charged again, and they would not let it go until they killed Dorag. Many brothers died, they were stuck on the cliff and could not get up and down. The alpha wolf raised the charge horn again and again, and the wolves obeyed the order and besieged Dorag from all directions. The wounded Drago is already at the end of his strength, and he is still fighting like a cornered beast. He couldn't last long, and the wolves knew it well, and they changed tactics again. Delaying tactics, consuming Drago's physical strength a little bit, let him fall down. Ah. The pack of wolves separated, and one or two wolves attacked, but was avoided by Drago. The wolves are not in a hurry. Every time they attack, it is a feint attack, circling in circles around Drago, approaching, and Drago swings a branch, and they will retreat. And Jing watched as Dorag started, thus consuming his physical strength. After repeating this several times, Drago got tired. He was out of breath, with dense wounds on his body, his clothes were torn, and his clothes were stained red with blood. The smell of blood stimulated the wolves, and they became crazy and bloodthirsty. Damn, they want to consume me to death. Continue, I will be dragged to death here. No, I need to find a place to rest. Touching the big tree behind him, Dorag doesn't need to look back, his only way out is to climb the tree. Hiding in a tree, you can barely avoid danger. I can only hide in a tree for one night. Wolves can't climb trees. Drago turned around and quickly climbed the tree. Seeing this, the alpha wolf would not let Drago climb the tree. They spent the whole night, but they didn't want their prey to fly away. The duck with its beak flew away, and the brothers died in vain. Ah. Group attack. All wolves attack together, including the alpha wolf. Preventing Drago from climbing the tree, the speed of Drago climbing the tree is neither fast nor slow. The attacks of the wolves came before him, and Drago avoided the attacks one after another. The alpha wolf jumped very high and flew towards him. Drago couldn't avoid it, his speed of climbing the tree was not faster than the attack speed of a wolf. It will be thrown. Drago wanted to fight back, but he couldn't let go of his hand. If you let go, you can only fall down, and the bottom is more dangerous. Chen Qingtian on the treetop grabbed a leaf with his hand. Grandpa will help you once this time, don't run around next time, Dorag. Whispering softly, the leaves flew out, skimming the darkness. The soundless leaves cut through the void and passed by in a flash. The wolf head wailed and fell to the ground. The wound was pressed to the ground and could not be seen clearly. Drago didn't know why, so he buried himself in the tree and finally climbed to the tree. Standing at a very high position, the wolves below could not come up. Some of them walked around the big tree below, raising their heads and roaring from time to time. Some circled around the head wolf, uttering sad cries. They who have been reluctant to leave for a long time, protect the head wolf. What happened? Drago is still confused about what happened when he climbed the tree. The alpha wolf had already launched an attack, but it stopped before its eyes. Could it be that its body is sick? Internal injury? How lucky am I? No one will save me, right? He immediately shook his head, no one would save him except Grandpa. People nearby, he didn't know a single person. Grandpa is the only person he knows, and according to Grandpa's character, it is impossible to save him. I can't wait to see him being bullied and bitten by wolves. Besides, Grandpa is sleeping at home, how could he know that he is here? After thinking about it, the idea of being saved by someone is impossible. Drago had another thought in his heart, and he looked around, trying to find movement. There was no movement, the head wolf died, and the pack of wolves crazily rushed into the big tree. The sturdy tree trembled and did not fall. The attack of the wolves was insignificant. After attacking for a while, they gave up the attack. Did not leave, squatting below. They won't go, and tonight, they're inseparable. Drago can't leave, he can only stay in the tree. How did the wolf die? He didn't feel any attack. At that moment, he heard the howling of the wolf, and then disappeared. There is no text. Sitting on a branch, leaning on the big tree. Holding my own baggage, it was tattered, and the clothes inside, except for the innermost one, were preserved, and the others were torn to pieces. Wolves attack regardless of place. My clothes. Damn it. Those who know the current affairs are Junji, and Dorag is going to spend tonight in a tree. He is still worried, there are many dangers around, hiding in the trees may not be safe. He didn't dare to sleep, his eyes widened, and he was wary of his surroundings. If there is any danger, he will react quickly. The tense nerves and dilated pupils symbolized that it was impossible for him to rest well tonight. Chen Qingtian also stood on the top of the tree watching. The dense leaves in the night separated his figure. Breath, shielded, no one can detect his arrival. I can see Drago, but Drago cannot see myself. Let you dare to run away from home next time. You have said that it is dangerous outside, so you must not listen. Tonight is destined to be a night full of love. It's time to go home at dawn, grandson. That's it, one night. Drago waited until dawn, and the wolves below did not seem to leave. They squatted all night, and the wolves waited impatiently, and attacked several times in the middle of the night, crashing into the big tree. Scared, Dorag stood up and was alert to the following. As long as the big tree falls, he will react immediately and get out of danger. The big tree is very strong and has no intention of falling down. Every time I was about to fall asleep, I was ruthlessly awakened. He, with dark circles under his eyes, looked down. In one night, more than half of the wolves left. The few remaining ones squatted until morning, unwilling to leave. They are gone. The wolf's body was also taken away, and Drago dared not go down. He stood on the tree and watched for half an hour. After confirming that it was safe, he decided to go down. Put your burden on your back and go down slowly. After a little trial, he landed without danger, and he breathed a sigh of relief. It's finally safe. A horrible night almost killed me. The forest at night is too dangerous, don't be reckless next time. That being said, he didn't stop at all. Don't look back, keep going forward. Chen Qingtian wondered, grandson, are you being too stubborn? It's really a guy who doesn't cry when he sees the yellow river. You won't stay if you beat him to death. I have to leave, the old man will see what your expression will be then. Leaving the island is not so easy. First of all, you have to have a boat. There is usually no ship approaching this small island, and there is a business ship regularly every month. If you want to leave, you can only take a merchant ship. And now, there is still half a month before the arrival of the ship. You just want to go, but you are powerless. Unless Dorag can swim off the island and go to the next island like Rayleigh. The exhausted Drago walked through the forest and kept going. He vaguely remembered the way he came. Lost, he climbed to the tree to look, and after knowing the direction, he continued to walk forward. He has a clear mind and is reliable in doing things. Compared with Garp, he is not sure how many times smarter. Chen Qingtian, who was watching the whole process, watched from a distance, but couldn't get too close. Drago is cautious, walking a few steps, he will glance around with his peripheral vision. Trying to find his figure, the frightened Drago stepped forward. One night was delayed, he was afraid that his grandpa would catch up. Hurry up. Don't let grandpa catch up with me. They're all damn wolves. Why come out to look for food when they have nothing to do? Bless grandpa for not waking up so early, and sleep for a while. A forest during the day without danger at night. Drago walked out of the forest and looked at the open space outside. He opened his hands and shouted excitedly. What? No matter how dangerous the forest is, he has come here. Now, freed, Naval Headquarters, Dorag, are back. Are you ready for the return of the great Dorag? Excited, he ran forward. Running all the way, passing through a small town with few people, many people have not woken up yet. People who get up early, get down to work. No one noticed the appearance of Drago, nor did they know that there would be children leaving with their bags on their backs. Drago took the path, walking from the alley, deliberately avoiding everyone. The people in the town are all Grandpa's eyes and ears. Can't be discovered by them, otherwise, Grandpa will know that he ran away from home. All the way forward, came to the shore. The empty shore, where he had come, no sign of a ship. Just him, and the rushing waves. The waves hit the shore, splashing a little bit of fluorescent light. The sun shines and shines brightly. Drago stood at the port, staring blankly ahead. On the ocean level, there are no shadows of ships. He, it seems, walked away lonesome. How come there are no ships? Yesterday, there were so many ships in one night, why are they all gone? Where's my boat? Don't play with me, come out quickly, it may be an illusion, yes, an illusion. He lowered his head and washed his face with seawater. Awake. Looking up, he hoped to see a different scene. No, it was nothing but emptiness. There is nothing, only the seawater and the port in front of him, and him with his burden on his back. Wound, sting. The wind tore open the wound, making him unable to squat down. Unwillingness and pain, as well as inner sadness, surged up all at once. He is extremely uncomfortable. Want to cry. Eyes red. Working hard all night, for what? In the end, the bamboo basket fetched water in vain. By myself, I can't go. There is nowhere to go. Do I want to go back to Grandpa? Immediately, he shook his head. No, no, I can't go back. I can't go back to that damn place. Drago, said that I would not go back even if I was killed. But where can I go? Find someone to ask. Yes, he can ask someone. At the beach, he found a shell picker and went over to ask. Ant gave him a horrible answer, which Dorag couldn't accept. The ship is still half a month away. You can't leave now, you have to wait half a month. Small place, not many boats moving around. There is a fixed time, and Drago wants to leave, but has to wait. Half a month. Do you want me to die? How am I going to spend half a month? I began to think in my heart. Did Grandpa find out that I ran away from home? How about I go back secretly, wait half a month, and then run away from home? It is absolutely unacceptable for him to strangle the idea in the cradle. If you want to be dignified, how can you go back? Just go and go without hesitation. Are you going to beg? No, no, I can't. Drago, will never beg in my life. He muttered alone, like crazy. The ant moved away from him as if in fear, walking away step by step. Before leaving, the ant still didn't forget to take a look at him. I don't know where the neuropathy came from, we have to stay away from this person. Drago has been dubbed a psychopath, and may soon be spread throughout the entire island by the ant. Leaving the port, Drago was hungry. He was looking for something to eat, so he checked his trouser pockets, but he had no money. I want to buy delicious food, but I have no money to buy it. Walk into the town alone, hiding in the alley, next to the trash can. His eyes fixed on the things in the trash can, where there was a half-eaten bread that was thrown away. It looks like it's fresh out of the oven. Gulu. Drago licked his lips, he wanted to eat, but dignity told him that he couldn't go there. Body. A little closer. Very hungry. I spent the whole night in fear, consuming too much energy. Take a bite, just take a bite. So hungry and tired. He just wants to eat now, even a bite is fine. Go closer and stand next to the trash can. I never thought that Drago, would be here today. Reaching out, picked up the bread, and quickly evacuated. Running to the corner, he squatted down and took a deep breath. Staring straight at the bread, should I eat it or not? It looks very fragrant. Smell it, it is fragrant. Bring your lips closer and take a bite. The taste is okay, barely in the mouth. Swallow. Just as he was about to take a second bite, a voice sounded from the other side of the corner. What a familiar voice, like a demon. Drago's movements froze, he turned his head, staring at the corner with wide-eyed eyes. Looking closer, he saw a person. The man waved at him, smiling. His eyes were full of teasing, as if he was asking, is the bread delicious? What? The scream sounded instantly. Drago quickly put away the bread, and he ran back. Clothes, caught by Chen Qingtian, can't escape. Chen Qingtian lifted him up, and Drago, who was struggling constantly, unfortunately gave up and ran away. He hid the bread he picked up so that Chen Qingtian would not see it. Chen Qingtian let him down and asked with a smile, why did you run away from home? Drago bowed his head and didn't speak. You abuse me like that, if I don't leave, I will be tortured to death by you. Don't talk. Right, my precious grandson, it's dangerous outside, walking around alone, it's easy to encounter accidents. Then he took out a piece of bread and gnawed on it. Soy milk on the left, bread on the right. The bread is exactly the same as the one in Drago's hand. After taking a bite, he put it down on purpose for Drago to see. The bite mark was very glaring. Drago looked at his bread, and then at the bread in his hand. At that moment, the bread was not fragrant. He thought of a terrible possibility, and kept denying it in his heart, but the cruel reality told him that his idea was right. Grandfather. Chen Qingtian responded, lowered his head and asked, is the bread delicious? It was this sentence that broke the defense of Dorag. He trembled and stared at his grandfather. Yes, you guessed it right, I threw the bread just now. Chen Qingtian admitted frankly that Drago was embarrassed instead. He looked at the bread in his hand, and suddenly, it didn't taste good. Grandpa, can you not speak out, just give me a little hope. I am your grandson anyway, can you show me some face? Chen Qingtian ate bread with a smile. Good grandson, eat. What are you afraid of, haven't you already taken a bite? The movement of Drago raising his hand froze for an instant, followed by his body. He turned his head back with difficulty, stared at his grandfather, opened his mouth several times, but couldn't say a word. In his heart, his defenses have been broken. After breaking it a few times, Grandpa's words appeared in my mind again and again, playing in a loop. I threw the bread you ate. I throw bread. You eat what I throw away. It's a pity that you rummage through the trash can to eat. Grandpa's pitiful eyes were full of sarcasm, and his smile always hurt people's hearts. Looking back once, seeing that expression, Drago's heart fluctuated once. Collapsed. Autistic. He lowered his head and bent his body, his face and dignity were completely destroyed at this moment. Drago couldn't lift his head in front of his grandfather. For a moment, he felt that it was wrong for him to run away from home, and he should not have run away from home. He should serve Grandpa well on the mountain, and should not have unreliable thoughts. But now, there is no going back. It's fine to come out, I can't go back. Grandpa. When did you follow me? Chen Qingtian touched his chin, smiled and said, are you sure you want to know? This remark made Dorag feel embarrassed. He kneaded the bread and was about to collapse several times. According to Grandpa, it seems to be Gulu. Drago choked out a sob, and asked softly, this morning? He is probing, he is longing. Chen Qingtian shook his head. God, collapsed. Isn't it morning, is it night? Last night? His voice trembled, his body tensed. If it was last night, Grandpa had seen everything. Grandpa saw all the scenes of his own death. Since he's here, why didn't he show up earlier? To be precise, from the first step you left home, I followed behind you. Chen Qingtian added. It's not that someone is going to run away from home. He wants to run away from home at a young age. Grandpa has never seen anyone run away from home. No, I'm curious and want to take a look. Guess what I saw? Your every move, all your behavior, I have seen. Drago was terrified, and his back was sweating coldly. Been being followed all the time, but I didn't find it. Grandpa, he stared at himself, his own thoughts, in front of Grandpa, there were no secrets at all. One look sees through everything. Well, last night. Chen Qingtian nodded. That's right, it wasn't Grandpa who made the move. Do you think you can survive till now? Your strength is poor. Don't run away from home like others. This is not naval headquarters, nor your original home, it's very dangerous outside. My precious grandson, didn't Grandpa remind you last night? You refused to listen to Grandpa and insisted on running away from home. The more I talk, the more excited I get. Chen Qingtian described Drago's behavior last night with a look of disappointment. As a playgoer, he still likes to see these scenes. Drago died on the spot. Bow your head. Trembling. He bit his lips so hard that he was about to bleed. Grandpa saw it as expected, and he followed him all the time. Huh. No face to see people. Dorag, why keep your head down and your chest up, aren't you very capable? Face Grandpa directly, don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed, Grandpa won't laugh at you, ha ha ha. Wow ha ha ha, my grandson is so stupid. Chen Qingtian, who couldn't help laughing, laughed out loud. Laughing loudly in front of Drago, his laughter made Drago lose face, wishing to find a hole and crawl in. What a shame. In my grandfather's eyes, my weak chicken behavior is an idiot's behavior. Grandfather. Dorag complained about Grandpa, and part of the anger in his heart dissipated. Thinking of the dangerous scene last night, if it wasn't for Grandpa, he would have been himself. Looking at the bread in his hand, his heart warmed. As for Grandpa, he said cold words on his mouth, but his heart was still warm. The old urchin, his father and Crane Ant's evaluation were not wrong, it was because he failed to realize it. At this moment, he realized. Grandpa likes to see his grandson deflated the most. The more uncomfortable you are, the happier he will be. He was one of those old urchins who took pleasure in other people's pain. Remarks. This other person is none other than his own grandson. Okay. I won't laugh anymore. Ha 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 ha. Drago. There's no help, Grandpa. He's crazy. Scary Grandpa. Really crazy. Drago swallowed the bread in 2 bites, not to waste it. He was so hungry that he grabbed Grandpa's bread and finished it in 2 or 3 bites. When he was full, he proudly challenged his grandfather. I also ate your bread, but you have no bread, haha. As a result, Chen Qingtian took out another meatloaf. Baji, eating, Jushang. Want to eat? Drago nodded, smelling the smell, it was very fragrant. He licked his lips and reached out. I won't give it to you, haha, I'm so hungry. Chen Qingtian ate the meatloaf by himself, and the gravy came out in 1 bite. Great fragrance, the meatloaf is delicious. He ate it bite by bite, deliberately eating deliciously in front of Drago. Drago collapsed in place, he went crazy. To snatch, but not to snatch. Come on, the meatloaf is almost gone. Don't you like to eat? Drago couldn't grab it and gave up. The more I resist, the happier my grandfather will be. He likes to tease himself. No more snatching? Dorag snorted coldly. HMPH. Dissatisfied, he lowered his head and tidied up the wound. Chen Qingtian glanced at it, and said, "Why don't you give me some saliva? I heard that saliva has magical effects on wounds." Drago has a black line. Roll. Disappear as far as you can. Your sister. You still want to trick me. You have always wanted to harm me, Grandpa. Has your conscience been taken away by the dog? Don't be angry, my stupid grandson. Look at you. The injury is so serious, Grandpa took you to the treatment. It is rare for Grandpa to show kindness and spend money to treat you. Don't thank me, who let me be your grandfather. It's hard being a good grandpa. Then I really thank you. Listen to me. Thank you. Because of you, the 4 seasons are warm. Drago wondered, he was in such a miserable situation, yet Grandpa still had the heart to mock him. No, he wants to call and complain about him. He reached out and asked Grandpa for a phone bug. Chen Qingtian handed it to him, watching him operate with a smile. After dialing the phone bug, a voice came from the other end. It was his father's hearty voice. At this moment, Dorag's eyes filled with tears. Hi, is that father? Father, it's me, Dorag. Dorag said, I'm looking for you, not Grandpa. Oh, Drago. The other end of the phone was obviously disappointed. Drago. Could it be that my son is not as good as your father in your heart? On the way back, Garp received a call and heard his son's voice, which caught the attention of Xiaohei next to him. The two looked at each other and smiled. It was a little stronger than they predicted, and it could last for a day, not bad. The complaint call will come soon, and Drago can't stand the threat. The eyes of the two danced, as if they were reading the Morse code. Xiaohei. Dorag asked you to complain about uncle, you can answer by looking at it. Garp. Haha, nothing good will happen to this kid. Letting him follow his father seems to be the right decision. Xiaohei. I also think so. Uncle has his own way. In front of him, Drago is nothing but a big witch. Garp. It depends on my father. Garp. Let Drago always be so pushy, don't learn from the good ones, and only learn from the bad ones. Xiaohei. Let uncle take good care of him for a few years, and he will grow up. The two were all smiling, and the future of Drago was tragic. If you want to talk about color, it must be black. Black every day, not Black Thursday. Father, are you listening to me? Dorag's impatient voice came. Garp replied. I'm here, tell me if you have anything to do, I'm very busy. To create a busy atmosphere, Garp deliberately let the marine next to him cooperate with him. Drago frowned, and he said, Father, can you turn back? Ha. What are you talking about? It's too noisy here, I can't hear you. Garp pretended to be deaf and dumb. Say it again, I can't hear you. From the other end of the phone bug, there was a noisy voice. Is it artificial, or is it? Unable to know, Chen Qingtian stood by, listening to Drago speak. He wants to see how the result of Dorag's complaint is. Is it useful? Father, turn around and take me back. After speaking, wait for the response. On the other end of the phone, Garp clutched his phone bug, trying to laugh. Not daring to laugh out loud, holding back. Xiaohei next to him also laughed. Very wrong, Drago. The voice has changed. It seems that last night was a night full of love. The two looked at each other, and they had the same thoughts. Dorag. Why are you coming back all of a sudden? You've only been here for a day. Did Grandpa treat you badly? He asked this on purpose, and his father must be standing beside him. If you dare to speak ill, let's see how your father treats you. Garp caught Drago's weakness, he faltered. Finally said a word. No, Grandpa is very good to me. Garp asked. Since Grandpa is very good to you, why don't you stay a little longer and pick you up when father is free? Drago. King sister, good words are nothing, you don't understand, do you? On purpose. Father must have done it on purpose. It's so annoying. Drago turned his head and smiled at Chen Qingtian. A very forced smile. Chen Qingtian said directly. You can say it directly, don't worry about me, I don't care. You can speak ill of me, whatever you want. It's okay, just say what you want to say. I am not angry at all. Drago rolled his eyes, it's no wonder that he believed you. Anyone who believed you would be in bad luck. A cheapskate. If you really want to speak ill of him, if you can't go back by yourself, what will happen next? Drago couldn't imagine it, and he didn't dare to imagine it. In a word, dangerous days are coming one after another. No, father, I'm not acclimatized, and I'm not used to it, so hurry up and take me away. Dorag said again. I will be obedient in the future, father. In order to go back, Dorag gave up his dignity. Bow to your father. You come and take me back, I will listen to you later. Let's not make trouble, okay? There is no conflict between father and son. Garp laughed loudly. Haha, Drago, you can't, my father is very busy, and I don't have time recently. Your Sengoku uncle has given an order for my father to go back immediately without delay. Good boy, Dorag, play with grandpa for a while, and go back to pick you up after grandpa has finished handling his own affairs. Be obedient, let's stay here, Drago. He wanted to scold people, but he didn't dare to scold. Their fate is in their hands. In order to be able to leave, he tried his best to say good things. It's no use, Garp won't let up. The battle between father and son began, and the battle between the two was a battle without gunpowder. Father, I'm sick. Showing his trick, Dorag gritted his teeth. He didn't believe that his father would not come back. Chen Qingtian rolled his eyes. Boy, it's amazing, you can tell a lie as soon as you open your mouth. Garp on the other end was also speechless. My good son, can you find a plausible reason? Does your father look like a fool to me? This kind of lie. Lousy didn't use it when he was 3 years old. Ahem, dear son, does your grandpa know what you said? Dorag's back felt cold. Grandpa, looking at him with a half smile. Those eyes were full of danger. I know, father, grandpa is by my side. After getting his son's response, Garp smiled even more happily. My stupid son, you are screwed. I think you are tired of talking bad things in front of your father. You don't know that father hates other people's lies the most. What about you? You are brave enough to touch grandpa's bottom line. In the days to come, you will be miserable. Xiaohei shook her head, she also felt that Drago was too courageous. You don't know what is coming for you. Soon, you will find out. Dorag, you, wish you luck. Dorag didn't understand what this sentence meant, so he hung up the phone. The father's voice disappeared, and he, holding the hung-up phone, was in a daze. For a long time, I didn't respond. It wasn't until his grandfather took the phone bug that he realized that his father had hung up on him. He didn't even want to look back. He dared to hang up the phone. He watched his son go to die. It's unreasonable. How can father hang up on me? Facing his grandfather alone, Dorag panicked. He was so scared in his heart that he didn't dare to look up at his grandfather. Chen Qingtian took back the phone bug that Garp's son had given him, folded his hands, and said, let's go. Grandpa will take you for treatment. Didn't you say you were sick? No, Grandpa, I'm not sick, I'm just hurt. Dorag's wound cannot be delayed, and must be treated immediately. Chen Qingtian was familiar with the road, and led him to find the place where the doctor was. Entering the door, I met Aunt Karim. Aunt Karim saw the miserable appearance of Drago, and complained to Chen Qingtian. What are you talking about? Such a cute kid like Drago, can you bear to abuse him? Chen Qingtian yelled for injustice. Beautiful Karim, don't talk nonsense. I didn't abuse him. These injuries were caused by someone who ran away from home at night and were injured by wolves. I didn't do it. Aunt Karim didn't believe Chen Qingtian's words. She checked Drago's injury and opened it. That's right, it was the wolf's paw that caught the wound. You said you were so young that you learned to run away from home, really? Dorag yelled that he was wronged. It's not what you think. No. At this moment, he couldn't express his suffering. Aunt Karim, no, for Drago, it's grandma. She touched Drago's head, carefully cleaned his wounds, cleaned each wound once, and frowned once. As if his grandson was injured, his eyes looked at Chen Qingtian from time to time. It seems to be questioning Chen Qingtian how to look at the child, causing the child to be injured. You, don't run around. The mountains are very dangerous, especially at night. What are you running for? It is said that children in the city are spoiled, and you don't look like spoiled. Why did you run away from home? It's not good to be rebellious, be obedient, listen to grandpa more. Look at you, if you are injured, you will have to rest for at least a week. It is purely to make yourself suffer. She kept complaining and talking. Drago remained silent the whole time, looking down at Grandma Karim cleaning the wound. No cry of pain, no pained expression. Quiet as a piggy, letting Grandma Karim do as she pleases. Dayton came up with the ointment, which was pitch black and had a strong smell. You're more rowdy than Garp was back then, when they wouldn't have run away from home. You don't mess around with things. Your grandfather is not the same person he used to be. He is old and his legs and feet are inconvenient. You should watch him more. Drago said hello. What? What did you say? My grandpa has inconvenient legs and feet. Where did you hear the slander? When beating someone, why don't you say that he is not good? Stronger than a cow. You said he has bad legs and feet. It's a big joke. If Grandpa and the others hear this sentence, they will probably lose their teeth. Dayton saw that Dorag's face was unfazed, and she said again. Last time I wanted to talk about you. How could you let your grandpa work alone? Won't you help? You can also work, not 3 or 4-year-old child. Help your grandpa more. Don't let your grandpa work alone all the time. If you bully grandpa, you will be struck by lightning. When your father Garp comes back, he will beat you up. Kareem looked shocked. What are you talking about? Why do I look like I don't understand? Daughter Dayton told her mother about the scene she saw last time. After speaking, Grandma Kareem exerted more force on her hand applying the medicine. She was obviously dissatisfied with Drago's behavior, and taught. You, let Grandma tell you how you are. You should help Grandpa well. You should work more and be less lazy. It's not easy for your grandfather to be alone. How can you let him work all the time? I think back when your grandfather and the others were your age, they could already do everything. If you don't understand, you have to learn. There are no talented children, only lazy children, ordinary housework, don't you know it too? Drago really wanted to refute them. Why did you talk more and more outrageous? Obviously I was the one who was hurt and I was the one who was abused. How can you educate me? I am a victim, okay. What you see is someone's show, it's not real. Wrong da, who will help me? Being educated by 2 women, Dorag could not refute. They were kept in the dark, cheated by someone, and I couldn't be angry with them. Grandma, aunt, I. Drago wanted to explain, but was interrupted by 2 people. Grandma Kareem continued. Okay, I see, you want to say that your grandpa abused you? Drago nodded. Finally someone redressed my grievance. Woo, I was so wrong. Such a big pot was thrown on my body, it was so heavy that I couldn't carry it on my back. Why did your grandfather abuse you? Is it because you are not his biological grandson? Or is it that your grandfather is mentally ill? Drago shook his head, neither, and he didn't know why. Grandma Kareem spread her hands. Then why do you say? Can't find the reason, can't tell why. Drago was also in a daze. He himself had endured the torture on his first day. Why did Grandpa treat me like this? He also wanted to know. You can't tell why, but you are rebellious and disobedient, child, listen to Grandma and live a good life. You will live with your grandpa for a while. Your father must have told you to let you take care of Grandpa, right? Drago wanted to cry. Who took care of whom? I am still a child. You 1 or 2 slandered me, I am wronged. Duo Lage, who was wronged more than Doi, is really a dumb man who eats Coptus chinensis, and can't tell the pain. His explanation is useless, how pale. Grandma Kareem and Dayton Aunt will not believe his words, everything is in vain. Grandpa, you have already taken the initiative. He knows how to use the eyes of others to discover his own goodness, so as to slander others. The reputation is ruined, and Drago feels that he can't hold his head up in the small town. Did you hear that, kid? Drago lowered his head and replied in a mosquito-like voice. I heard it, Grandma. Very good, child, as long as you are sensible. Grandma Kareem stroked Drago's head. She is a sensible child and is very likable. After applying the medicine, give the money. The purse that Chen Qingtian gave the money was very familiar to him. Drago pointed to the purse, it was not his own money. How could he pay with my money? Looking for your money. Chen Qingtian waved his hand. No, that little money is nothing to me, you take it. Yes, yes. Dayton wanted to give Chen Qingtian change, but Chen Qingtian didn't want it. Don't want to live or die, buy meat for them. After leaving the door, Dorag put his hands on his hips and said angrily, Grandpa, why do you want to use my money? Good grandson, be nice. This is outside. You don't want to bear the name of being unfilial. Chen Qingtian, who took the initiative, frightened Duo Lage, and Duo Lage froze in an instant. Say. But his attitude is still not happy. Chen Qingtian raised a finger and said, first of all, your injury was caused by you running away from home, not by Grandpa. This money is for your own treatment, so you have to touch the money yourself, right? Drago didn't want to admit it, but the facts were in front of him, so he had to admit it. Secondly, if Grandpa brings you here for treatment, he will also take part of it, right? Drago was upset for a moment, and tipped Grandma Kareem and the others, and he had no objection. But to Grandpa he has an opinion. No. Why not? No way, no way. Drago said no, his money cannot be given to Grandpa. Not even a penny, he wouldn't give Grandpa Qian. Okay. You can't do it if you say no. Chen Qingtian pulled him forward and came to the door of a barber shop. Drago refused to go in, his whole body was refusing. Don't be afraid. Grandpa will take you to get your hair cut. Take a look at your hair and see what it looks like. A boy has to look like a boy, but with girls' hair, what's the point? It's dirty, and I don't know how to wash it myself, and I have to learn how to dye my hair. Drago refused. Grandpa, can you not cut your hair? What do you say? Dorag resisted desperately. Grandpa, it's all right if you don't go. Grandson thinks it's pretty good now. My hair is not long yet, so I don't need to cut it. Every cell in Dorag's body is refusing to cut his hair, and finally resists all the hair grown by external forces. Elegant long hair is the youth of every young man. What we want is not non-mainstream, but youth. Don't you see the flame of my youth burning brightly? Although I am not Mr. Guy, I keep my mouth open and shut up, but I can do half of it. Those who work hard for youth are all descendants of Mr. Guy. Grandpa, can I give you money, can you let me go? He is still insisting on his own ideas and not cutting his hair. Without hair, it is equivalent to not having youth. His youth has just begun, how can it be killed? Absolutely not, and no one will come. Chen Qingtian picked his nose. My good grandson, tell me, what exactly do you need to cut your hair? Look at your hair. It's dirty. If you don't cut it, Grandpa doesn't like it. If Grandpa doesn't like it, he will be in a bad mood. If you are in a bad mood, you will suffer. You have to learn more from your father. Look at your father, when did he rebel, and when did he not listen to Grandpa? If you want to be non-mainstream, you have to be independent first. Independence is not called independence if you take my money and go to eat, drink and have fun. It's that you can support yourself. Don't take money from your family, you can do whatever you want. Even if you are a ladyboy, Chen Qingtian will not complain. If you can't be independent, please don't talk nonsense with me. My fist will tell you what independence is. Independence is to rely on yourself, not by your mouth. Or do you think you can earn money and support yourself? In a word, Dorag was speechless. In the days without Grandpa and Father, I may not be able to support myself. The outside world, which looks peaceful, is actually very dangerous. A child trying to support himself is an idiotic dream. Grandpa, as long as you don't cut your hair, your grandson will listen to you. Whatever you ask your grandson to do, your grandson will do, okay? Drago repeatedly made concessions, and it was impossible to go back. Father and Crane Ant have given up on themselves, and if they want to leave, they have to wait at least half a month. Half a month later, he needed a sum of money to leave, but he didn't have it. It was very dangerous for a child to go by boat, and he died outside in minutes. You can't even get out of a small forest, let alone the outside world. What do you think? Chen Qingtian narrowed his eyes, lowered his head and said, next, you need to work. Long hair is not suitable for work. And your grandpa can't understand you now. When you grow up, you can do whatever you want. You are still a child now. The main task of a child is to work, to learn, not to play. My grandson, you can't be a waste. Your grandfather and I don't raise waste. You remember one sentence, Grandpa is not a father, so he will not be polite to you. Useless people. Grandpa should also be cultivated into useful people. You are my grandson, and I will redouble my training for you. If others have a workload of 100, then my grandson will need 200 workload. Not for anything else, just for you to lead them in the future. Drago drank a lot of poisonous chicken soup, he lowered his head, wanting to cry. Touching my hair, today, I can't escape the catastrophe. My dear hair, today, you are doomed. I've fought for you, but Grandpa won't let go. My hair. The thought of cutting his hair made Drago even more sad. Chen Qingtian pushed him. Hurry up, I have limited time, and I don't want to waste it for you. Every minute you waste now, you will lose a minute in the future. Drago insisted not to go in, he wants to delay. Want to struggle, in case it succeeds. Chen Qingtian asked him. Hurry up and do your ideological work. Go in quickly, I don't want to do it, my stupid grandson. You did it voluntarily, remember, Grandpa didn't force you. Your grandpa, I support democracy and never dictatorship. In a democratic society, we will not be dictatorial. Drago pouted, Grandpa, do you have the face to say that? I volunteer shit. Do you know how long it took me to grow my hair? So many days of hard work were ruined by your words. Take a deep breath and don't get angry. He looked down at his hair, stroked. Even though the hair is stained with bloodline, it still has dirt on it. Dorag is reluctant to part with her and doesn't want to cut her hair. Go. Drago gritted his teeth and persisted for a while, before being pushed in by Chen Qingtian. There is no one else in the barber shop, they are the first customers. The boss knows Chen Qingtian, an old man he has known for many years. It's you. You're back. Long time no see. Are you here for a haircut? Chen Qingtian shook his head, pointing at Drago. I didn't cut my hair, I cut this guy's hair. The boss looked at Chen Qingtian in surprise. There was a child beside him. Dirty, with the smell of blood on his body, it seems that he has just experienced danger. Oh, I haven't seen it before. Where did you pick up the beggar? The corner of Chen Qingtian's mouth twitched. Ahem, this is my grandson. The boss looked at Dorag in shock, watched carefully, and asked tentatively, is he really your grandson? His own? It must be his own, Garp's son, which Garp brought back yesterday. The boss brushed off Drago's hair, looked at it carefully, and compared it. He came to a conclusion. It doesn't look like you, and it doesn't look like Garp. Are you sure it's your own? Chen Qingtian. Drago. Boss, I seriously doubt that you are here to make trouble. It's here to destroy the relationship between me and Grandpa. Let me tell you, boss, some things can't be said indiscriminately. Your mouth is still so poisonous. I don't know if the old man has a grandson. Hurry up and cut his hair. The boss laughed. He often joked with Chen Qingtian and complained to each other. What beautiful hair, do you really want to cut it? The boss asked Drago. How much courage is needed to cut hair? It seems that it took a long time. Drago wanted to say no, he glanced at his grandfather, bowed his head, and said, yes. Are you sure it wasn't your grandfather who forced you? Drago understood why Grandpa said that to him just now, so he was waiting for him here. It's all calculations, Grandpa is good at calculations. Grandpa didn't force me. Word by word, each word was spoken with great effort. Gritting teeth. The boss laughed out loud when he heard this, and sure enough, it was Chen Qingtian who forced him. He teased Chen Qingtian. Tell me, at such an age, you still care about children's affairs. If your hair grows long, it will grow. Why did you cut it? As he said so, his movements were not slow. With a click, the hair broke. Drago is still thinking, with half of his hair gone. New world. Some small island. The two men fought, and the situation around the island changed. The waves were monstrous, and the huge vibrations tore everything around. The island is broken, and the seawater pours back. The dark clouds in the sky were torn apart by the huge slash, revealing the blue sky. The blow of the two people actually made the surrounding space freeze. In an instant, the space shattered. The burly man held a knife and clenched a fist with his left hand, and the white light hit the space next to him. With a punch, the space was shattered, and the void of nothingness crackled and shattered like glass being hit hard. The crack, as the fist spread, came to another man. The beard was raised, the man twisted his neck, and the hat on his head was almost blown away. He held the knife in his right hand and swung it backhand. Space Shatter paused from his attack, and cut off the vibration of space with a single blow. Then there was another knife, and the burly man who descended from the sky leapt up, and everything around him became silent. In the next second, the two collided. The wind and waves blow away everything around. In a quarter of an hour, the fighting ceased, and the island returned to calm. The two gave up fighting and sat drinking together. They met by chance and fought for 3 days and 3 nights without a winner. They stopped fighting in the end, and it was rare to meet an opponent, which was a great joy in life. Ha ha ha, Newgate, your wine is so-so, not as good as mine. Roger, pour another glass of wine for Lousy, ha ha. The two gulped and drank, bowl after bowl. After drinking 3 bowls of wine, the two laughed loudly. Lying on the lawn, Roger asked Whitebeard, Newgate, I heard that your captain is very good. Whitebeard murmured, it's strong. Captain Rocks is very strong, and he doesn't have the confidence to single him out. The others, Whitebeard is confident enough to knock them down. Roger was shocked. No way, Newgate, you are so strong that you still don't have the confidence to single him out? The strength of Rocks is beyond Roger's imagination. But it's normal, the Rocks pirate group is a big pirate group that has galloped the sea for many years after all. As the captain of the Rocks pirates, Rocks is weak. There are a bunch of monsters on his ship. Whitebeard Newgate, Golden Lion Shiki, Big Mom Linlin, and Kaido, who made their name, are all monsters. With so many monsters combined, it's no wonder that the Rocks pirates are not strong. Rocks is very strong, Roger. I advise you not to trouble him until you have enough strength. Newgate added. At that time, we will stand on the opposite side, but it will be troublesome. Lousy doesn't want to shoot you, haha. Drink and chat. The two talked a lot. Whitebeard Newgate asked curiously, Roger, haven't you eaten devil fruit? Roger shook his head. It was Whitebeard's turn to be shocked. Roger, he didn't eat devil fruit, his strength is so strong. Why? Roger said without thinking. My teacher told me that when you don't want to have weaknesses, it's best not to eat devil fruit. Devil fruit is a good thing for the weak, but a burden for the strong. That's what my teacher said at the time. What about Lousy? I don't want to leave a weakness, haha. Isn't it silly? Under his simple and honest smile, he was full of innocence. Whitebeard thought for a moment, and he realized. Thumbs up. Whitebeard praised. Your teacher is a genius. Of course, my teacher. Hey, Lousy hasn't seen him since he went to sea. Roger said indignantly. Lousy's strength is good now, but he disappeared. I searched for him for a long time, but I couldn't find him. Roger searched for many years, but he couldn't find any information about the teacher. As if not in this world. Whitebeard asked curiously, why are you looking for your teacher? Roger immediately said. Of course I beat him. When Lousy was a child, he abused Lousy crazily. When Lousy grows up, he will not take revenge and vow not to be human. Such a deep mentor-student relationship. Your teacher is so lucky to have a disciple like you. Whitebeard was even more curious. Can you let Zhan Yang look at the face of Master? Roger blinked, and he was groping around. Fortunately, he was careful and left a photo of Chen Qingtian. For so many years, this photo has accompanied him. Every time I encountered difficulties, I took out the photos and complained viciously, and the difficulties were solved. Whitebeard picked up the photo and looked at it for a long time, his breath was gradually brewing. Killing intent. Upgrade. Roger, reacting instantly, moved away from Whitebeard. What's up with him? Whitebeard squeezed the photo hard, and he asked coldly, Roger, this person is a teacher? Are you sure? Roger nodded. Yes, very insidious old man. Let me tell you, Newgate, be careful when you meet him, I can't guarantee that he will do something wrong to you. Wait, shouldn't it be? Reminiscent of Whitebeard's appearance, Roger has a bold idea, I don't know if I should talk about it? Whitebeard nodded, and he said angrily, Lousy has been looking for him for several years, but he still doesn't know who this bastard is. No background, no news, after searching for so long, Chen Qingtian seemed to have disappeared from the world. How can they bear it? That incident back then has always been a psychological shadow for Whitebeard and Kaido. When the two meet, they will think of that scene and feel like vomiting. Their relationship, from that day on, somehow became awkward and wrong. The two performed on purpose to remind themselves not to forget that bastard. It's horrible. If they don't kill him, they won't be able to pass the test in their hearts. Now, I finally found the news of that person. God, you opened your eyes. Finally let Lousy find him. Roger, tell me where this bastard is, I'm going to kill him. The murderous Whitebeard frightened Roger. It turned out that he was not the only one who received love. And Whitebeard in front of him, maybe there are more victims. Can I ask, what did my teacher do to you? Whitebeard kept his mouth shut, refusing to tell Roger. Roger kept grinding, his curiosity was not satisfied, and he refused to give up. In the end, Whitebeard gritted his teeth and told the shameful things of the year. After speaking, he felt even more ashamed. As for Roger, he couldn't see his eyes when he smiled. Ha ha. No, Newgate, you said you were stripped naked by my teacher, and you were in bed with a man. Did you do that kind of thing? An angry Whitebeard slashed at him, sending Roger flying. Which pot do you not open and which pot you lift, can you be normal? Haha, Newgate, it's not that I want to laugh at you, the main thing is that you were too kind. When I encountered that kind of thing, I went to Tianya Cape to find him. Shame in life doesn't count. It's a pity, Newgate. I don't know where the teacher is. I also want to seek revenge from him. It just so happens that we can find him together. If you find him, let me know. I will tell you when I find the teacher. Newgate nodded. Okay, when the time comes, we will be together. Roger's eyes lit up. Okay, let's go together. Going alone is not safe enough. For two people, it's a lot more conservative. Coming out of the barber shop, Dorag didn't speak the whole time, he touched his head, and fell into infinite sadness. Squatting alone in the corner, silently sad. The hair that has been accumulated for many years is gone. Is that a haircut? It is cutting his heart, and every time the knife is cut, his heart will be a little less. Poor him, he couldn't get Chen Qingtian's mercy, and raised his demands again and again. It was obviously very short, so he insisted on saying no. In the end, I cut an inch, yes, the same inch as my father Garp. How ugly. Drago, who was not used to it, felt even more sad when he touched Stinger's hair. My hair. Woo, my poor hair, you died so badly. I won't let the person who framed you go, woohoo. Holding his hair and crying, vowing to avenge his hair. Chen Qingtian seemed to be a murderer, he was Drago's biggest enemy, bar none. Set up an evil list. Chen Qingtian is definitely at the top of the list, followed by my father. No, my father is not on the top. After the comparison, Dorag discovered how good his father was to him. Woo, my lord father, I have wronged you. It turned out that the father was a good man. I, who was blind before, failed to discover my father's goodness. Hey, it's almost done, man. Why are you crying? What a shame. You can cry if you want, but cry secretly, don't let others see. Chen Qingtian's words are ruthless, unfeeling, and hurt people's hearts. Drago was even more sad. He didn't expect that Grandpa would just sprinkle salt on the wound if he didn't comfort him. Grandpa, how can you say that? What do you want me to say? My stupid grandson. Chen Qingtian was condescending, staring down at his grandson. You have to organize your language well and don't talk nonsense. Drago hugged his hair and continued to cry bitterly, wanting to bury his own hair. Putting up a tombstone is the last thing I can do. After doing everything, the two bought some daily things and went back. The child who ran away from home was found, and he had to go home to care for him. The next time, wouldn't Chen Qingtian have to work hard and have no rest all night? How sleepy he is. Back on the mountain, inch-headed Drago voluntarily went to do housework. Contract all the housework at home, sweeping and mopping the floor. Cook, stir-fry, and treat yourself to a good meal. 3 dishes and 1 soup, 2 meats and 1 vegetable. Soups are also broths, everyday meals, issued for one's own hair. After eating and drinking enough, Drago wanted to rest, but was dragged by Chen Qingtian. Why go? Sleep. Who allowed you to sleep? Wash the dishes. Dorag said with a bitter face. Grandpa, I have done everything, can you wash the dishes? Respect the old and love the young, do you understand? I am your grandfather, you have to take care of me, not me to take care of you. You've grown up, you've done everything you need to do when you run away from home, there's nothing you dare not do. Chen Qingtian started his verbal attack, and every word fell on Drago's ear, very harsh. Finally, he went to wash the dishes. No housework to do, consciously he wants to go to sleep. Then, he was stopped by the old man. He didn't know why he wanted to get angry, but after thinking about it, he realized that he was wronged. Not angry, not angry. Squeeze out a smiling face and try to make yourself look without dissatisfaction. Grandpa, do you have any orders? The attitude is very good, but the smile is a little fake. Chen Qingtian did not reveal his heart, and pointed to the wasteland in the distance. Go to work. The hoe is ready for you, go ahead, young man. Do you want to be lazy if you are full of food and drink but still not working? Drago pointed at himself. He, bruised and seriously injured, was called to work. Grandpa, where is your conscience? No, Grandpa, I'm injured, you let me go to work. Dorag thought he heard it wrong, so he asked again. Got the same answer. Chen Qingtian asked him to work, not to rest. You want to rest, but you don't get a chance. There is always time to run away from home. Chen Qingtian decided to increase the workload for him so that he would not have the energy to run away from home. Children, it's normal to be rebellious. That being the case, let him have no time and opportunity to rebel. Grandpa, I am a wounded person, at least wait until I recover before going to work, right? Chen Qingtian shook his fingers, he held a different opinion. No, my stupid grandson, Grandpa's opinion is different from yours. Look at you, running away from home is full of energy, and you don't feel tired at all. Grandpa, it's also for your body, think about it and work hard. Working will make you heal faster. Believe in Grandpa. This is the experience Grandpa has summed up over the years, and there is absolutely no way to make mistakes. The last sentence cut off the chance for Dorag to refute. You have to go. If you don't go, you have to go. My territory, I have the final say. You can argue, but you can't not. Having said that, the rest is up to you. Drago looked back and forth at the hoe. He didn't want to work. Grandpa, I'm your grandson. Dworag played the emotional card. Can you give me a day off? Just one day? Okay, please, Grandpa. I'm your own grandson, you can't do this to me. Chen Qingtian shook his head and said, No, you are wrong, Drago. You are not necessarily my biological grandson. You are not at all like me, nor my son Garp. Maybe you picked it up, or, your father Garp was cheated, and he deliberately said you were his son in order to deceive people. Everything is possible. You are not necessarily my grandson. So, I am targeting you. Dworag's life values, world outlook, and everything else collapsed. His grandfather actually said such words. Isn't he afraid of being beaten? I am 100% his biological grandson. He is also Garp's biological son, and he can't do fake things. Father Garp doesn't even doubt it. Why do you doubt me, Grandpa? Don't you believe what the barber said? One word from others broke up the relationship between our grandparents and grandchildren. Grandpa, you have to trust me. Drago begged, Grandpa, unmoved. Look at him coldly, you continue to perform, and I watch you perform. There is no way. Grandpa is a stubborn old man, he won't let oil and salt in. Okay, I'll go. Can't I go to work? Drago took a hoe and was ready to go to work. He was exhausted and wanted to save him. Grandpa, I didn't rest all night last night. Can I let my grandson rest for an hour, just an hour, not much, is that okay? Lowering his bottom line step by step, Dworag wants to rest. Last night, I was too tired and stared at my surroundings all night, for fear of being in danger. Today, he is exhausted all over his body. Don't want to work at all. No, go to work quickly. In a word, cut off all requests from Dworag. You have only one way to go now, and that is to work. You don't have to work, depending on whether your body is hard or the wooden stick in Grandpa's hand is hard. Fixed task volume. No matter what you do, you must complete the daily task volume. There is no reason for Chen Qingtian to become a ruthless grandfather. I will listen to your request, whether you allow it or not is my business. A task is something to be done, you have to do it, and you can't find any reason. Tired, Drago worked hard, pausing every time he swung the hoe. The body is resisting, not wanting to exert force, sleepiness, attacking the mind. Grandpa, I'm going to be sick. The pale-faced Drago was about to fall down at any moment, and he, who was on the verge of falling, supported himself with the last bit of strength. Shake, rock from side to side. He is sick, can he go back to rest? Grandpa can't abuse a sick grandson, right? You wouldn't be so heartless, would you? Drago obviously underestimated Chen Qingtian's ruthlessness and rejected his request without mercy. If you are sick, you will be sick. You still have to do work. If you don't do it, why don't you leave it to me? Chen Qingtian's words left Drago speechless. He was already so miserable, sick, and about to faint at any time, yet Grandpa unexpectedly. Oh my God, his worldview collapsed again. Grandpa, why are you so unfeeling? Grandpa, aren't you afraid of my sudden death? Chen Qingtian rolled his eyes and said, My stupid grandson, are you sick or pretending to be sick? Grandpa, you know it all. It's useless to put away those little thoughts of yours here with Grandpa. I'm not your father, I won't fall for it. This kind of trick, your grandfather didn't use it when he was 3 years old. Please don't pollute my eyes, your grandpa. I don't want to complain about your acting skills. Drago seems to understand that his acting skills have been seen through. Grandpa, who has the strength of an Oscar winner, can't see through his acting skills. Dworag was not discouraged when pretending to be sick failed. If he didn't try, how would he know the result? What if he succeeded? He. I didn't expect to be spotted by you, Grandpa. You are so smart, Grandpa. Good grandson, you still work obediently. Drago worked hard for half an hour, and he began to think of ghosts again. If you can't keep going, you will be exhausted. Never been so tired and exhausted. Grandpa has gone to sleep, isn't he himself? Looking back a few times, he saw that Grandpa closed his eyes and fell asleep. For a short time, it seems that I can't wake up. He tiptoed over and picked up some grass. He walked up to Grandpa, ready to do it. I work, you sleep, there is no reason. Can you be a good person? Ready to do it, grass, put it in half. Grandpa opened his eyes and stared straight at him. F*K. When the national essence came out, Dworag stepped back 3 steps in fright and fell to the ground. Overwhelmed with fright, he panicked. Pointing at Chen Qingtian, he couldn't say a word for a long time. It was so scary. Grandpa was not asleep, pretended to be asleep, and lured him over. He was really fooled. Dorag was still in shock, took a few deep breaths, and complained, "Grandpa, you lied to me." Chen Qingtian sat up and glanced at Drago. "It seems that your workload is light. You need to put a little pressure on it, my dear grandson. If you have the courage to make trouble, you are tired of work, right? If you don't put pressure on you, you don't know how miserable it is. You did it yourself, so you can't blame me. Come on, do 100,000 push-ups first." "What?" Drago thought he heard it wrong. "How many?" 100,000. "Grandpa, are you kidding me? You know the concept of 100,000 push-ups. Do it for him for a day, and you may not be able to do half of it. Push-ups are very tiring, and being able to do a few thousand is already the limit. 100,000, just open your mouth. Get down." Drago shook his head, refusing to do so. Chen Qingtian clenched his fists and loosened his muscles and bones. "It is you who lie down, or Grandpa to help you. I don't think you want Grandpa to do it, it will be very miserable." Drago got down on his stomach, ready to do push-ups. "Don't do it yet. Support it, yes, use your strength." Chen Qingtian walked over and reminded, "Get ready, use your strength." Then, he patted Drago on the back, indicating that he was ready to sit on it. At that moment, Drago collapsed. "Grandpa, no, you sit up, I can't do push-ups at all." "You're too heavy, Grandpa, don't." Drago was shouting. Chen Qingtian ignored his resistance and sat down on it. At that moment, his arm trembled violently. The body is crumbling. His face was flushed. Grandpa was so heavy that he couldn't breathe. The body will not be able to support it in the next second. "Grandfather." Gritting his teeth, he said 2 words. He wanted Chen Qingtian to wake up. Chen Qingtian sat on it and would not come down. Holding hands, said calmly, "Let's start, come, let me count for you. Don't try to be lazy, and don't try to lie to me. Be a standard. If it is not a standard, I don't know how to count." 1. The first one, Dorag did tremblingly. He used all his strength to do the first push-up. 2. The second one, can't do it. Dorag's arm hurts, and the hardness of his bones cannot support him to continue doing push-ups. Supporting it had exhausted all his strength. Chen Qingtian continued to shout. 2. Drago didn't respond. He held on and couldn't go down. "Hurry up, Drago, you just made one, can you give me some strength and make another one? Are you weak? It's so weak that Grandpa didn't even notice it. Compared to your father and the others, it's far worse. The condition is better, but the body is worse." Chen Qingtian couldn't help complaining. "What did your father teach you all these years? You are poor in body, poor in thinking, and rebellious. The only advantage is that you can cook. That's what makes Grandpa satisfied. Others, I don't see it, I want to beat your father. He practiced martial arts well, but was crippled by Garp. It's obviously a big size, but you don't treat it well. How can he be treated preferentially? The flowers in the greenhouse don't grow big. If you don't teach when you are young, you will not be able to teach well when you grow up." "I didn't." Drago was reprimanded by his grandfather, and unwilling to reconcile, he opened his mouth to refute his grandfather. "I'm not as unbearable as he said, isn't it just push-ups, he just does it." "I do. Bend your arms and go down at a 90-degree angle. Get up. Almost unable to get up, want to fall to the ground." 3. For the third one, Drago gritted his teeth and did it. 4. No. Even if Drago wanted to prove it to Grandpa, he couldn't prove it. "I am really a weak chicken. I can't do push-ups anymore, only 3, and I can't do the 4th one." The swollen purple face can only support. Chen Qingtian sat down and didn't get down. "If you can do it, keep supporting it. If you don't put pressure on you, you don't know how tired you are. When your father was the same age as you, he had already started carrying rocks to climb the mountain. It was the top of the mountain you saw that day. Those 3 rocks were carried up by your father and Sengoku uncle. As for you, you are too weak, you can't even do many push-ups, let alone surpass your father and the others." This sentence is what hurt Dorag the most. People are better than dead people. Compared with his father, son, he doesn't want to admit defeat. It is the sorrow of a son to live under the aura of his father all his life. Drago is young, but he understands this truth. It seemed that he was rebellious and disobedient because he couldn't surpass his father. Full of despair about life, he had tried, thought he could, and it turned out. Can't do anything, he can only be a person waiting to die. Trash must also be enlightened. If you don't even have a heart to surpass your father, How can you become a strong man? Your father is not the strongest one. At the same age, there are people with better talents than him. The world you know is still small, and you don't know the vastness of this world. Do you think your father's achievements came from sitting? No. How much effort did your father put in back then, do you know? Chen Qingtian didn't want his grandson to be decadent, and it was indeed his son's sorrow to have a strong father suppressing him. As for Garp, that's great. Those who are so outstanding that they are compared with him have become sorrowful. Especially his son Dorag, who lives in his father's shadow. Grandpa, did you train your father too? Dorag heard the key words, Grandpa, as if it was the culprit for his father becoming stronger. He excitedly asked his grandfather. Dorag wanted to know how his grandfather exercised back then. A lot of information. Father and the three of them kept silent, not wanting to recall the miserable life back then. They also didn't want Drago to experience the misery they experienced, but they didn't expect that they would have to be sent back in the end. Hearing this, Dorag understood his father's good intentions. For him, Garp tried every means, but had no choice but to send him. So you came here because you were disobedient. As for your grandfather and me, I rule those who are disobedient. To deal with a brat like you, I dare to be cruel to you, Grandpa. They won't be willing. Your grandpa. I can even beat my own son, the kind of violent beating. Do you think you can let Grandpa treat you specially? Drago shook his head. He seemed not qualified. What did father experience here? He seemed to be able to imagine it. When you meet someone like Grandpa who doesn't like oil and salt, he won't pity you no matter what you say or do. Make a plan for you. Just finish it on time. Grandpa, do you think I can surpass my father? Chen Qingtian rubbed his chin, thought for a while, and said, I don't know, it depends on you, not me. I'm just a person who guides me, and I don't play an important role. I can only use the most severe method to train you, so that you have the capital to catch up with your father. As for surpassing him, it depends on your heart. The heart is the most important thing. What you think in your heart, whether you have surpassed your father's beliefs, depends on you. Chen Qingtian is a bystander, a guide, and plays a leading role. The final result is like this, it depends on Drago himself. My heart? Drago bowed his head and asked his heart. Can I? I asked myself, can I do it? Maybe. It didn't work before, because he himself gave up hope. Now, he wants to regain hope. Grandpa, I think I can. Loudly. Be firm and serious, he can. Very good, my dear grandson Dorag, you have finally enlightened. Chen Qingtian praised. Come on, do push-ups, 100,000, you can't be lazy. What? Why is it still 100,000, isn't it 99,997? Hurry up and forget about the little details. 100,000, not one less. As for work, put it aside. Do it when you have time, those things are not difficult. Since you took the initiative to ask for training, how can I, Grandpa, go against your wishes? I am a democrat, never a dictator. 1, 2, 3 people who train, sweat dripping to the ground. Soon, Drago was sweating profusely. He gritted his teeth and continued to do push-ups. Grandpa sat on his back, very heavy, really heavy. That weight is not like the weight of a person at all, but a mountain. The more you do it, the more tired you become. After doing less than 100, Drago felt pain all over his body. His heart is supporting him, not letting him give up. Just 100 push-ups took him almost half an hour. If you want to do 100,000 push-ups, you can't do it today. If you do your best, you can do 200 push-ups in an hour, and you can do 2,400 in a day, no more. The distance is 100,000, which is 1,000 miles away. Those are not things that Drago thinks about, he is responsible for doing them, and put the others aside. Hold on, rest for a while, continue doing. Work hard. Go beyond your father and be your own independent self. He wants to tell everyone that he, Dorag, is stronger than his father. At least, he was mentioned, not Garp's son. 105. 106, keep doing it, work hard, surpass yourself, start today. 100,000 push-ups, how many can be done? Set a goal, one day, he can complete this small goal. Dorag worked hard and was really tired. He wanted to give up several times, but he was supporting himself with faith. Come on, Drago. Inside, cheer yourself up. Hold your breath and don't allow yourself to speak. Try to let yourself do the limit, and then go beyond the limit. Today is perfect. Go on, Drago, you can do it. You've outdone yourself, keep doing it. Only by surpassing yourself again and again can you succeed again and again. Every time you surpass, you are a little closer to your father. Chen Qingtian feeds poisoned chicken soup to his grandson. It's delicious, it's delicious. My good grandson, you like to eat this set, tell me earlier. Your grandfather and I have a lot of poisonous chicken soup, which can make you hear the day you die. Don't you know that your grandpa has the nickname of King of Poisonous Chicken Soup? If you want to surpass your father, you must first surpass yourself. Surpass yourself countless times. Add up, you can surpass your father. Your father is actually not very strong, surpassing him is a matter of minutes. In less than 5 years, you can definitely surpass him at the same age. Now you are still very weak, wasting a lot of youth. Don't worry, Grandpa's here, Grandpa will help you, you can do it. What kind of result do you want, and what kind of plan Grandpa will help you make? The faster you become stronger, the more Grandpa likes you. Whether you can quickly awaken devil fruit is up to you, my good grandson. Okay, Grandpa, I will work hard, I will surpass my father. With one more belief, Drago became different. Rejuvenated, with the drive that young people should have. I don't believe I can't do it, my future is up to me. Come on, work hard, you can wait a series of words to comfort the hurt heart. Chen Qingtian sat on his back, looking at his masterpiece, it was perfect. Grandson Drago regained youth and hope, his future has changed. Starting today, Dorag is back to life. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Drago did push-ups seriously, very consciously, and didn't need Chen Qingtian to shout. In the morning, the biological clock is on time, get up, exercise, and call Grandpa together. He can't exercise alone, he has to let his grandfather with him, if you don't come, you have to stay with me. The unique way of getting along with the two grandparents, only one person trains, and the other is unhappy. The typical way of hurting the enemy is 1000 and self-inflicted 800. Anyway, everyone has to do something. 254, 255, 256. After experiencing the miserable life of the previous 2 days, Drago's way of life has temporarily stabilized. Not as tired as before, after getting up today, like a cow, I did 100 push-ups in one breath. After experiencing muscle pain, his body strengthened a little. The genes are here, and the physical fitness is relatively good. He is worthy of being my grandson. Strong recovery ability, so that they do not fear daily exercise. When exercise becomes a habit and produces muscle memory, this is the scariest thing. Good grandson, come on, make 100 in one go. Since you are so good, continue to do 100 push-ups in one breath. Obviously you can do it yourself, so you must ask me for help. It's not because you have a bad heart, you have to let me come. Complete 100,000 push-ups quickly, and there are new tasks ahead. 100,000 push-ups is nothing but a simple task. The training volume is so-so, and you still have a long way to go. Don't feel that Grandpa is mistreating you. If you don't force it, you will never know where your limit is. Beyond your father, today. Every drop of your sweat is your capital to surpass your father. Your father is not strong, really. The usual method, Chen Qingtian made Drago look like Garp was weak, which made Drago feel good to surpass. Build confidence for children, Chen Qingtian is good at it. Yes, go ahead, come on, we will surpass soon. Your father couldn't do it back then, but you are about to do it. We are comparing the same age, not with him now. At the same age, you surpassed your father, time after time, and at his age, you will naturally surpass him. Then you become an adult, and your father has passed his peak, so you can naturally beat him. All this is within Chen Qingtian's budget. How long Garp's peak period will be in the future, Drago doesn't know, just can be fooled. Others have a short peak and decline as they get older and have a limited lifespan. As strong as Whitebeard, he will also age, and his strength is also declining. Everyone's peak period is different, some will decline when they are old, and some will decline before they are old. There are also some special cases, such as Chen Qingtian. Another reason is illness. Sickness is the lifelong enemy that torments the strong. When you get old, all the little pains from the past come out, and you can't control it, and you will be plagued by serious diseases. All in all, it's hard to beat Garp. For children, give them a goal that cannot be surpassed. Very well, you did it, Dorag. Yes, go ahead, 1,000 more. Since it has been surpassed, it will be infinitely surpassed. Drago worked desperately as if he had been injected with chicken blood. I have surpassed my father, and I will pull him far away. I will become an existence that my father will never look up to in his life. Every son has a heart beyond his father. Not admitting defeat is the persistence in every man's heart. Do you also have a heart beyond your father? 996. 997, 1000, he made 1,000 more, he pulled his father far away. Getting ready to rest, who knew that Grandpa would say another word? Since there are more than 1,000, why not more than 1,000? In this way, the distance between you and Garp is brought closer. In the past 10 years, make 1,000 more, shorten the time a little bit every day, and after a year, you have surpassed at least 1 month. Another bowl of poisonous chicken soup, very poisonous. For Chen Qingtian's words, re-inject chicken blood into Dorag. Come on. Fight. Less than 100,000, I swear not to give up. Go beyond your father earlier, and slap your father in the face earlier. Drago was already fantasizing about that scene, himself, standing in front of his father, stepping on his face fiercely, arrogantly. Thinking of this, Drago smiled like a fool. Another 1,000 came, and he was tired. Extremely exhausted, Chen Qingtian smiled and asked, "Are you tired?" Drago wanted to say that he was tired, but the man's damn self-esteem wouldn't let him say tired. Not tired. Shaking his head, he said something against his body. Chen Qingtian said with a smile, "How about 1,000 more? Break through yourself a few times a day, and the time you have to face Garp will be shortened rapidly." Dorag, can you? It was that damned pride again, and Drago gritted his teeth and replied, "Yes." Poisonous chicken soup, too poisonous. Can't say I can't. Men, for that little bit of poor self-esteem, did it. 550, 551, 552, these 1,000 are not as fast as before. Really tired, the body will strike at any time. Chen Qingtian watched quietly, waiting. He found that Drago was more foolish than Garp. Looks smart, but in fact, a fool. Why are my son and grandson so stupid? My genes are fine. Maybe they inherited their mother's genes, too bad. I don't want to keep fooling my precious grandson. In my heart, a little bit of guilt rose. My stupid grandson, Grandpa can't bear to fool you. What to do? Time and again to fool his grandson, Chen Qingtian found many reasons and fed his grandson several bowls of poisonous chicken soup. His grandson, Drago, did 1,000 and 1,000 in a days. As he did it, he has completed 10,000 push-ups. Achieving life's great breakthrough, and he's still doing it. You can feel your body getting stronger, it's real, you can't fake it. Grandpa's exercise is very effective, but it is very exhausting. Every day when he was exhausted, Grandpa would boil a barrel of medicinal bath for him and soak him in it. Soak it once and feel refreshed. All the injuries, the exhaustion, the frailty of spirit, were replenished. Practice repeatedly every day. Exercise during the day, take a medicinal bath at night, and then study without interruption. Dorag's learning is better than the others, his talent may be learning. It's easy to get started, let him learn something, and he will know it in twos and twos. Talented and intelligent, looking at it this way, Drago is the one who has inherited Chen Qingtian's perfect genes. Ahem, yes, the perfect gene. In the blink of an eye, a month has passed. Dorag, who completed 100,000 push-ups. He was as excited as a child. Finally broke through. 100,000 push-ups is a barrier. If you break through, there will be no pressure. Then move on to the next task. Grandpa, what are we doing here? Ahead is a calm pool of water.